Dad.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all shapes and sizes, welcome to the Next Gen Retro Chat Show, where today we are going to be talking to Butter from Butterface Creations.
That's not actually how I talk. Hi, my name's Butter. And there I am, showing some leg. That's how you get the people to come.
Yeah.
Literally and metaphorically.
Indeed.
Show some leg.
Indeed.
These pasty chicken legs of mine. How you doing?
I'm good. How are
in
you?
your Seinfeld shirt.
It's dope. It's dope.
It is. It's not bad. Bust out the bass. I don't know how to play the bass. Air bass.
I slept at a bass.
Yeah. Ugh, don't ever scream that at a bassist at a show. I came up with a list once because I did do time as a musician before I was an artist, and I came up with a list of stuff. You should probably never scream at particular band members. So like vocalists, don't ever tell them to freestyle. That's fucking rude. Don't do that.
All right.
I mean, seriously, like it's the same thing as being with a doctor and being like, "Does this look infected?"
Oh God,
you shouldn't get free stuff like that. With guitarists, don't ever fucking scream Freebird at them or Stairway to Heaven. They hate that. Bassists, obviously, you got slap at a bass. It's fun the first time. Never again. And drummers, more cowbell. If you scream more cowbell at a drummer, I will jump off stage and punch you. Okay? I don't like that shit.
So you did a lot of live shows with your band, didn't
Oh
you?
my God, 100,000 of them, yes. So many. It was fun. It was okay. It was okay.
So what I know that eventually you just got kind of like burned out.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it since I was 15. I was a rapper, and then I started a band with my best friends, and then it just didn't work out in the end. And just by the time we got towards the end there, we lost the original guitarist, which I was happy about anyway, but it's not the point. And then we lost our original drummer, and that's like when it was over. Like I was like, ugh. We tried on with a new guy who, God bless him, did great, but it still wasn't the right tempo, and we were all starting to forget parts, and I was just like, yeah, this isn't working out.
So when you went into it originally, was it like, let's do this, let's see if we can fucking get a record deal, or was it like, hey, we
just wanted to do cool things. We just wanted to do something cool and different.
Yeah.
Because I mean, with a lot of the music, especially locally, like you get bands that are knockoff versions of other bands. You know, you got Not the Misfits, you got Not Dead Kennedys, you got Not fucking Pusha T or whatever the rappers are nowadays. I don't pay attention to that, but the point is, got a lot of stuff that's like crazy or original. So we just wanted to be like different, and so we looked weird, we sounded weird, definitely heavy on the visual as well as the audio. Like especially now that it's over, I look at that more as like a whole audio-visual project that I did at one time, just to do it. Because, I mean, on top of being with the band, we had music videos, we had a YouTube channel and a series that I was working on, we had cool-looking merch, which was a good place for me to stretch my art legs really wide. So it was a really good audio-visual project at the end of the day. And it taught me a lot of what I know about merchandising now, too, as far as, like, where to get good stuff made or what materials not to use. Here's a tip. Don't use vinyl on shirts. It fucking sucks. I don't like it. It doesn't stay for a long time. And after after about 13, 14 washes, that shit starts to peel off, and that sucks. But I mean, it was good. I mean, when it was really good, it was really good. The 2 albums I made with them, I'm not proud of. Especially because I made it with my friends, and they were really talented and gave me a good place to flex my talents. So can't be mad at it now just because it didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. But that's music, though. Music changed a lot since I started doing it, and like now I don't see it as a lucrative thing you can do. Like, yeah, you're supposed to do it for the passion of it, but you should be compensated for your time and your efforts more than just here's some drink tickets, and if we make money off the door, you'll get 3%.
Yeah.
You
get to a point
you get a
in
stiff
age
fisting being in the music shit.
Yeah, well, you get to a point in age where the level of work it takes to create a thing requires compensation.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it at like music style via venues or comedy via venues, it gets real shitty when the fucking going rate for a feature comic hasn't changed since the 1990s. Right. And I imagine that it's probably similar for bands.
It was pretty standard 2 drink tickets every single fucking venue, even when we're touring out of town. Although touring out of town, they were a little more likely to give us money. But the one tour that we did do where we went like for a whole week, that was iffy. I don't know if we broke. I think we just broke even on tour, which is great. That's good enough. But it still was like, we got very lucky and got tipped very well the first night. Like, it was like the stars aligned in the right order to where it was like, yeah, this worked out, we broke even.
Yeah.
but it wasn't like a lucrative thing. Didn't sell that much merch. It was but I mean, like I said, learning experience, right? And it was fun to do at the time too.
So like moving forward on from that, you've really focused a lot on your art.
Yeah.
On your drawing for commissions.
Yeah. And just trying to establish a brand.
I know I've bought paintings from you.
Yep.
I actually have them handy. Yep. I'll get them so everyone can see them because they're amazing.
The Turtles paintings?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was a fun set to do.
I have not hung them up yet because I want them to be featured very prominently on camera. And I haven't found a way to do that yet. So here we are.
And with a big empty space in between us for us to Vanna White some shit.
So here is Leonardo.
Yep. Putting in the rain and the TCRI building. I can never remember if it was TCRI or TGRI because I think it's different in the books and the movies.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, like one's like Techno Genetic Research Institute and the other one's like Techno Cosmic Research Institute.
Yeah.
Too much turtle lore inside of my head.
And then we have Donatello.
Which everybody told me, hey, good job, because nobody ever knows what to do with that guy.
Well, yeah, and I thought it was great. Yeah. I think these are some of the best. This is some of the best art I've ever bought.
I think I did really good on like the shading on that one in particular. The computer and shit.
You did these with paint pens?
Paint pens and Sharpies, yeah. My fucking physical medium of choice is Sharpies and paint pens.
We have Raphael.
Big bloody brooding Raph.
This is a great one.
It's fun.
Yeah, and you really shine through with your style here and here, up
the veins.
here.
Fucking veins for days. Veins and splattery bits. I like drawing, for some reason, veins and splattery dicks. It's from a history of drawing dicks. Probably.
Everyone starts out life drawing dicks.
I mean, yeah. Some people turn it into a pretty good career. I'll tell you all about...
Miss Red Missouri says, those are gorgeous, by the way.
Well, thank you. I'll tell you all about people who turn drawing dicks into a career in a little bit here. And then Mikey, everybody's favorite, a fellow chucker, because I am a non-chucker.
And the only... I like that, I don't know if you thought of this, but I did after I bought them. The Mikey is the only turtle that's talking.
Yeah.
And he should be.
Yeah, because that's what he does. He's a shit talker.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I think that's great.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
These,
I didn't even put two and two together on that.
These are available for sale as a set. If you would like to purchase them from me, because I own them, I'll need $2,000. I would sell them for $2,000.
Fuck, wait until after I die. That'll be worth way more. Hold on to them. Give it 16, 17 years.
I collect art as a speculator.
Yeah.
But also, only one piece of art that I own didn't come from a friend, or I bought it from the artist because she put it up on Facebook. She did a show.
Yeah.
And I can't remember her name. It's on the fucking painting.
Of course.
It's the painting that you see when you walk in, the big one that's by the kitchen. I don't know if you noticed it with the dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I'm always more focused on dogs if there's dogs in the room.
Yeah.
Especially yours, they're so pretty.
They are.
I love pit bulls.
And rambunctious.
Oh my gosh, it's
so
fucking worth it, whatever.
Mad energy, bro.
Yeah, it's cool.
But yeah, so I saw she did a show, and that's the one painting from her collection that didn't sell. And I picked it up. It's a very large canvas painting,
nice.
Probably about the size of a movie poster.
So like 16 by 32.
Yeah. And I think I got it for $300, which is a steal.
Yeah, for
a painting
that size.
from a collection that every other painting in the collection sold. I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, if you sold every other painting, I need this one.
Turns out that's the one that's haunted, actually. Haunted paintings are worth more. So
cool, bro. I got Mad Sage. I'll just smudge everything in the house
there you go.
Every 35, 45 minutes.
I mean, I guess, sure.
So, your art is amazing.
Thank you.
And we've known each other for a long time.
Many moons.
Yeah, so I've had the pleasure of watching your style develop over the years as you've played with different techniques.
From the stupid little signs I made at the porn store,
yep,
all the way to now. Again, my ability to draw a penis, chef's kiss.
Mwah.
So much better now.
Yeah. Big veiny throbby
Dude, I joke
dicks.
about that, but then I think about it and I'm like, it's actually been a long time since I've been in the drawing penises and shit motif. Like, I've been following too much on like the fan artsy stuff, especially with like Alphabetical August just ending. I could have played that a lot smarter. I didn't. So like I'm like, man, I do too much of that. So I'm trying to like, if you've noticed the last day or two, I've been posting like more shit that's just my own ideas, like maybe except for like the Dreamcast controller, which that was my idea.
Really cool.
Yeah,
though.
I like that series that I'm doing. So it is my idea. It's the right balance of like fan arty and the lowbrow stuff. Because
is that only available on digital? Are you doing that digitally?
Yeah, that's digital. I'm almost definitely making stickers of it, and I might make pins of it eventually.
Cool.
Because that one and the N64 controller are really cool, and I got a couple of other good ideas for things along the same lines, because there's no shortage of controllers that I describe as dog ass. So I want to make that into a whole series if I can turn them into skulls, which I mean, seems to work. Like the N64 one came out looking really cool. I like turning the D-pads into little X's instead. It makes it a little neater, and there's always a good place to fit teeth. I tried to do it with a PlayStation controller, and there's like a whole page of me trying to sketch it out, and then at the bottom it says, doesn't work because it aged well. Like, it might be able to look like a skull, but it's not going to really work too well. It looks too nice. It's like the perfect controller. You couldn't do that. It's not working.
Did you remember that back in the PS2 / maybe PS3 days, they did a line of controllers that were like molded, like monster molded, and they were just impractical to use, but they were really cool looking.
I remember a few things like that. Like Resident Evil 4 came with a chainsaw controller on the GameCube.
Cool,
yeah, that wasn't. I mean, it looked cool. Functionality. That's a maybe. That's a big raging maybe.
I've seen
it's a collectible.
I've seen some people who own it try to play with it, and it's
if
a
people
hard
can
no.
beat Dark Souls with a fucking Guitar Hero controller, I'm not surprised if somebody could beat Resident Evil 4
Look,
with a
if you
chainsaw
can
controller.
beat Dark Souls at all, you're fucking. I beat the first one.
I'm not man enough. I tried to beat Dark Souls 2. It didn't go so well. Tried to play Bloodborne. Did a little better. I liked Bloodborne, but I still got to a point where I was like, fuck this, I'm gone.
It's so hard.
It's a pain. I don't have that kind of patience, and that's coming from a guy who loves stealth games.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just not into that whole critical thinking or looking for my shot. You know, I'm used to like God of War. It's one of my favorite games ever, and all you pretty much do is square, square, triangle, and wait for Kratos to overreact to something, and then square, square, triangle for another 3.5 hours. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's engaging, but it doesn't take much thought. It's like a podcast game where you just put it on and you can read the subtitles. You don't got to listen to the acting that much. So yeah,
I think my favorite game like that is Dante's Inferno.
Oof, that was a big God of War ripoff, but I get you.
Yeah.
If that was better than the Ghost Rider God of War ripoff game.
I did not play that.
Don't ever play that. It's awful.
Yeah,
it's bad. Why would you
I don't
want
like
to?
Ghost Rider, and I don't like things that are
He's
about
not
Ghost
one of the
Rider.
coolest ideas.
No,
it looks neat. I guess.
Visually, like a poster of Ghost Rider, it looks dope as fuck. He looks
cool. It's
but
good character
you
design.
got to paint out the part where it says Ghost Rider because
right, and
that
then
ruins
the
it.
The lore too. You got to be like stuntman that sold the soul to the devil. Okay, this is getting pretty goofy. It's like the Silver Surfer, where I mean, at least Silver Surfer has purpose nowadays, and I'm sure they've done something with Ghost Rider to make him cooler. I don't know. I don't pay attention, but
I don't think
it's just one of those ideas where they were like, "Hey man, what about this dude? He all chrome and he surfed through the galaxy, man. We call him Silver Surfer. Stan likes alliteration. Let's do that."
Yeah.
All right, what about some motorcycles are hot right now, right? I saw this guy had a thing on the back of his vest. It was a skull that was on fire. Let's mix those things up. Call it the Ghost Rider. All right, come on, we got ideas. And at the end of the day, they're just like, fuck, dude, I don't know. Sasquatch. Can we just have Sasquatch be something? Yeah, let's put him with Alpha Flight. Who cares?
What do you think it's like for a comic book artist in the development stages? What do you think those rooms are like? Do you think it sometimes actually goes like that?
I think at this point, coming up with newer characters isn't so much a problem, because they let's take Marvel for example. They have such a rich back history of characters to where like you don't really need to come up with new ones, and you can just kind of pluck ones from back in the day and say, well, this is their new counterpart now because all the multiverses mashed together after, I think it was Secret Wars 2 or something like that. Again, somewhat out of the loop on comics, but I imagine back in the day that might have been what it's like. Like look at Spider-Man's villains, for example. Like they're a lot of really good ones, but they are mostly just animals or what they do. Rhino's a rhino, lizard's a lizard. Like it makes sense to have Spider-Man fight a bunch of animal dudes, so that's what you do. X-Men is where I imagine it got the most ridiculous. Like at the peak of mutant kind, Genosha had like 6 million people living in it, and that's 6 million mutants. All of them have unique powers or close enough to unique powers. So I would imagine at that point, that's how you get people where they're just like, I don't know, She turns sound into light, okay? I think that's Dazzler. I think that's what Dazzler does. She turns sound into light or some shit. So it's like, or Jubilee, little fireworks out of her hands. She does sparkles. Or guy from X-Men Evolution with the spikes coming out of his arms. You're just getting lazy. There's fucking, I don't know. So
who is your favorite 90s era X-Men character, mainline X-Men character?
Probably Cable. Cable's pretty cool. Cable stayed pretty cool the whole time. There's rarely been a time where Cable's not cool, except for when he was X-Man, I think. But when they didn't have the rights to him and they had to call him and Deadpool something else.
Oh,
yeah. Like it was Agent X and X-Man or Soldier X or some dumb shit like that. But Cable's pretty cool. He was probably and I love pouches. Just the old Liefeld thing of just like pouches on pouches on pouches. And giant guns and something covering up the feet. Because as much as I make fun of Liefeld for not being able to draw feet, I can't either. I will cover them up with smoke if I can. Or you'll notice most of my art is just heads or busts. It's because hands and feet fucking suck. That's one artist thing that everybody can relate on. Even the best of the best are like, yeah, I hate drawing hands. They suck. Big time. I got pages and pages of just hands, and I still hate drawing them.
I remember when I was a kid and I got really into learning how to draw comics. I just never had the spark of natural talent, although I got okay, right? Because you can get okay at art by working hard and practicing.
It takes a lot of practice, totally.
But like I kind of got to that. There's in my opinion, and you can tell me what you think of this too, because you're a creative person. I think that there's a combination of hard work and talent. Mm-hmm. Both things individually have glass ceilings.
Yeah. True that, though.
So at some point, you have to bring those two things together, and that's how you break through the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. Because you can only do so much with talent.
Yeah.
And I mean, hard work will get you pretty far, but you need the talent to do anything with the hard work, I guess.
Well, without the talent, the spark of inspiration is... I don't want to say insufficient, but like it's shallow.
Yeah, it's not there as much.
Tends to create art that's really like same.
Difference between content and art at that point. You're just making content, you know.
True. Yeah.
Like think about like your standard YouTube gaming channel that just like makes top 10 lists, you know. Like I like those, you know. I'm not here to shit on them, but because I'll whatever. If anybody's talking about video games, I'm happy. But like the difference between that or like one of those video essay channels where like a dude will spend a half an hour just talking about the fucking beauty of a 30-minute section of Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah.
Why not? You know, like that's to me a big difference between content and art. Is like, well, one is obviously just there to fill a void and kind of be on in the background and get the clicks and the views. It's got the clickbaity title, and the other one is like something somebody put a lot more effort into and is trying to express more of a point, I suppose.
Yeah. And and I think that same kind of thought pattern can be applied to graphic design. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of graphic designers who are talented visual artists, but they apply their medium, it's buttons. They make buttons and logos and everyone needs to get paid.
I've actually had to come to terms recently that I'm definitely more of an illustrator than a graphic designer.
Although you did my logo for Bridge City Cannabis Refinery, and you did an amazing job.
I can do logos.
Yeah.
I sometimes don't like to, because it does come down to the difference between like the artistry that I do, which again is more illustration, and then legitimate graphic design. Like I got hit up to do a poster for a concert that happened about a couple weeks back. It was a big concert. It's like 40 punk bands on it. It was amazing, and it's like I've been to the show. I think it's neat, and I was glad they finally reached out to me. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, you know, you guys got a lot of info you're trying to convey on this. You know, 40 bands, 5 venues, so many sponsors, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I'm going to be trying to clutter the place up with whatever I wanted to draw. Like I had this cool idea in my head that was like the original Marvel vs. Capcom poster, but half of it's like Portland punk rock acts and the other half is like the bourgeois Portland kind of people, the Californians, you know. So like I was like, see, I want to do something like that, and there would have been room. I had an idea to make it work, but I was like, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, that's going to be a pain and a lot, and it might cost y'all a bunch. What y'all really want is a graphic designer here. And the same thing with like, I like doing album designs for people, but I think I should only be doing the covers and the back covers, and then when it comes to like putting the words in there, doing the liner notes, that's when you want to hire a legitimate graphic artist kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because like
a layout designer.
I can do that. I just fucking hate it.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the patoot, and the ones I have done, I am blessed to have done. Like I did one for the Latter Day Skanks, their most recent album, Under the Boner of Heaven. It's a great album. I suggest everybody go out and buy it and listen to it. Just beyond me having done the art for it, they're my favorite local band of all time. They're amazing.
They're really good.
So they're fucking
Yeah, they're really good.
So that's cool. I did some for Black Karma Social Club. They're another punk band, although they only hired me to do the covers, and then they had somebody take my art and apply that to the back. Like they had an actual graphic designer put that on, and they have done great things with my art. By the way, they do it right in my opinion. Like they had me do their first album cover, or at least the first album cover I did with them was just a picture of them. Right, looking in a certain style, but then I sent them all the files individually because I didn't just draw them as one group. I drew them all individually and then grouped them together because digital art is wonderful like that. But then they've since took that and like they made particular stickers based off each member. They did a little voodoo doll that's like their mascot that I redrew for them. They put that on a skateboard. I was like, see, now you guys are doing it right. You're taking the individual elements of what I sent you and you're using it on different pieces of merch because that's what I would do. You know, if I had something that was a big picture like that, to call it back to the band, with every different album cycle, I tried to do different things with the art, but it was still using the same assets. So like I'd have a bulk thing that was just like, okay, this is the chibi versions of us for this version. This is the logo we're using for this. So I'm going to be putting this on the buttons and this on the stickers, and we're going to be trying to use this when we're promoting online. It's a full thing. So that's what I think people should be doing with it.
Yeah.
At least if you're like a band or a brand that uses my kind of stuff. It makes sense to do that. Get the most out of your art because art's expensive too, and like I understand that.
And by the way, speaking of art being expensive, I think it's worth saying that pay artists.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Pay them.
Always.
Don't like Nigel is my friend. I could hit Nigel up and we're friends. We've known each other for a long time, and I could be like, Nigel, I'm fucking broke and I need a logo. Can I owe you? And he would do that because I've always paid him for his art.
Yep. If you got a good background with it, I'm generally pretty flexible too.
Yeah.
More and more these days, I do try to do the whole give me a down payment, and however much your down payment is depends on how fast I might work on it too. Like if people pay me in advance, I'm fast because I'm like, oh, you gave me all your money now. Okay, here it is. 2 days later, you know, because that's everything in advance. But if I get half, that gives me time to work and not.
I think when you did my logo,
totally did it pro bono.
Well, I paid you for it when I took it.
Yeah.
That was the thing is like I asked you to draw it. I kind of told you what I wanted. You came up with it, and I was like, "That's fucking perfect. Let me come give you the money."
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Make sure if you're in that situation with an artist that you don't use the asset until you have paid.
Well, usually too, I won't give anybody anything close to the final version. It'll either have a watermark over the top of it, it'll be like extremely zoomed in, or it'll be like a screen grab, so it's not the full resolution version, so you can't do anything like, you know, take pictures of it and shit. Like I've had people get jumpy and use it, and I've had to be like, yo, stop. That's incomplete work. That's a work in progress.
Yeah.
That's another thing I don't think a lot of people understand is when it's a work in progress. Like I've had people get mad at a piece and be like, hey, this isn't how it's going. This isn't the way I want it. And I'm like, well, that's just because it's a work in progress. Tell me what you need changed before we get too deep.
Yeah. And I know going back to having a graphic designer kind of go over it for certain things, I remember the logo that I had you do was really like geometrical. And I sent it to my brother, who is a layout graphic designer.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, just a couple of things or a few pixels off. Let me fix that. I'll make it perfectly geometric."
Nice. Because that was definitely before my reading pixels days.
And that's another thing where it's like you kind of know the asset.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well this is a beautiful thing created by hand. But actually what I need is a perfect machine printed copy of this. So you send it to a guy that does page layout, and that motherfucker will just make it pixel perfect.
Yeah.
And without changing any of the art.
I'm always up for outsourcing.
Yeah.
Especially with shit like that. I have such a weird eye for things like that. Like I have this one shirt that I made a while back. It was... I don't know if I even took it down off my TeePublic, but it was a piece of pizza with a rat fink eye, and it said "Crust No One." And when you look at it on the
I remember that shirt. I wanted to get it.
Yeah. So, but when you look at it on the side, it looks like it's centered. But then when you actually get it, it's because the actual like it's drawn at like this weird angle because I'm nearsighted or some shit. I wasn't reading the pixels at the time, so it's just at this odd angle to where it's centered here, but then it actually is kind of curving up this way. It's one of my workout shirts right now. So every time I look down at myself, I'm just like, ugh. It's like a fucking sash. It's weird. So it took a lot to figure that out. I've got it figured out now. So like shirts I've been making, like this one, is pretty centered.
Oh, you made that one?
Yeah, this is a me thing.
That's dope.
Pee-wee's Bizarre Adventure. You know, I make things. I think this one actually is available through Store Frontier.
Did you sell out of the Guario?
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
So I have 3 left that I'm not selling through my store. I'm either sitting on them for a rainy day or just keeping them in the archives for like an event or something. They were $6, 10 shipped. So not bad. That's pretty good for a pin this size, especially.
Let me know
too.
if you want to get rid of one of those that you're holding on to, and I'll give.
They're definitely a good collector's item now.
I like them a lot. They're really cool.
Yeah, I felt like taking them down because in all honesty, I feel like they were starting to become pressure of a cease and desist, and I was like, well, good, I only have 3 left anyway. So I'm like, I'm just gonna take them down and not get anybody in the band mad at me, and that'll be nice.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause I joked.
Were you more worried about pissing off Gore or Nintendo?
Oh, Guar, totally. Because I'm, well, because I'm also, especially at the time, I'm very the Guar artist community, and there is one. There's a lot of people that do Guar fan art and stuff. They're a very tight knit community. I was very involved in them, and the band is also very involved in it too. So like, wouldn't be surprised if they knew about it. Hell, one of the people that did order it is the current Beefcake. He bought 2 of them. Which is pretty cool. I thought that was
really
neat.
Fucking cool.
But that also means they have my address, and any day now I'm expecting fucking Ballsack to just show up at my door and be like,
"No,
you gotta stop making these, bro."
You will pay royalties.
But I've made it clear to everybody too. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing another run of these ever again.
Yeah,
it's just, no. But it's also because I want to lean away from fan artsy stuff too. Like, as cool as it is and as fun as it is, I can't legally sell it, so it's like, what's the point? I do have another pin coming that is very fan artsy, but that's going to be fun anyway. I'm going to sell it anyhow. I don't know, have you seen The Boys on Amazon? Oh my god, watch it. Do you have Amazon Prime?
Oh yeah,
fucking watch.
That's what I was watching Discovery on. I just signed up for CBS All Access.
Watch The Boys. It's so good. It's a superhero show of sorts. Basically, superheroes exist. They're kind of messed up. There's like a corporate-backed version of the Justice League, and they're all terrible people. So there's a bunch of a group of renegade non-superpower people who give them a right spanking. They're there to kind of keep them in place.
That's cool.
Yeah. So.
Definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, you should, because the pin I made is based off a specific scene. Without ruining too much, it just the main character and this guy named Mother's Milk break into this one facility because they're trying to answer some questions about how the superheroes get made, and they find a baby with laser eyes. Like, nice. Legitimate Superman laser eyes. And so when there's a raid that happens when they're in there, and Homeboy just uses laser eye baby as a weapon. And so,
wow.
Yeah,
okay.
so I made that into a pin. Like,
okay.
There's just a freeze frame of Carl Urban. He played Judge Dredd, or Scourge from Thor Ragnarok with Diz and Troy. He's the main character, Billy Butcher. He's great in it, by the way. So it's a pin of him holding the baby, shooting the laser out of its eyes. And then, I haven't seen it yet, but my pin guy assures me that he can do glitter. So the laser coming out of it's going to be glittery as well.
That's cool.
So
when do you think that's going to drop?
Soon. It's been almost 2 weeks since I sent the thing in, so I should be getting the final proofing or whatever sometime soon here. I still don't even know what I'm doing for a card backing on it. I've been slacking so fucking hard.
Yeah.
But I did that with the Guario one too. I was like, it'll come together, and it did. That's how I do my art sometimes. I'll push it to the last minute and just be like, it'll come together. And
dude, that's how I do my articles that I write for Exotic.
Yeah.
Deadline day.
Yeah. Just wait till it's crunch time, and then be like, okay. I do the best work when there's a gun to my head.
Yeah, really.
100%.
100%.
Yep.
I'll sit down and
total artist thing too. Just I'll put it off to the last second.
Well, yeah, because
that's how The Simpsons was made. If that's not good enough for me.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing that I think that artists do. I don't consider writers necessarily artists.
I mean,
because
they are.
The word artist to me is a visual thing.
No,
and
no, writers are artists. Fucking writing is hard.
It is hard.
Yeah, it's hard fucking work.
It's really hard.
And it's an art. I mean, even just writing articles is tough. You know, there's an art in that.
I guess it's hard for me to call my writing art.
Yeah.
Because I would never argue that Charles Bukowski's not an artist.
Yeah.
Or Chuck Palahniuk's not an artist, right?
All those usual names.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'll sit down and to me, it's not real. It's shit work if it doesn't come from that creative space. So if I plan ahead, I know exactly what I'm going to say, and then I sit down and I type it, I feel dirty. I feel like I didn't create anything. I just architected a piece.
Pooped it out.
Right.
Totally just pooped it out.
So I'll just, when it's crunch time and I sit down to do it, it feels more artistic. I feel more in the zone. You know, that real flow state?
Yeah. When you're just in it.
Yeah.
Totally. Fuck, I got into that last night. It was twice. Fucking twice.
Is this a carb?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, just a shitty gas station pipe. But yeah, last night I was just fucking I put on something in the background and I just started working on a sketch, and then wonderful thing happens if you're a digital artist. Sometimes you'll do a sketch layer, and then you'll start a new layer, and you'll do your inks on top of that. Sometimes you get a little too stoned, and you forget that you made that new layer, and you just put the inks down on top of the sketch layer, and you do a bunch of work that way and realize, oh shit, I was doing that on the wrong layer. It's a pain. You can't really separate the two after that. So like, I closed the project, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing it. This is a mistake. And then I sat there and I took another bong hit, and I went, that's a lie. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna fix that. And I finished it. It's cool. It looks like Captain Planet but a carny. And then I think I spent like an hour and a half on it, just being stoned and being like, yeah, I'm gonna make it. It was Captain Planet colors on accident too, because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give it blue skin. I haven't done anything with blue skin in a while. What color goes good with blue? Green, but it's got to be like a pale green. And then I zoomed it out and I was like, he looks like a pissed off Captain Planet. It was great. So yeah, it was neat. And then I did the other one, the arcade cabinet. If you saw that too, I did a piece a while ago. It was like over a year ago. It was an arcade cabinet that had the rat fink like tongue and eyes popping out of it. Yeah, it was really cool. I didn't realize how popular it was. People want it to be a pin now. But I'd always had an idea for a second one that would be like a light gun arcade cabinet, but the guns are pointing the other way. Kind of shit, because it's video game violence. You know, like the first one was going to eat you. This one's going to shoot you. So I finally developed that and made it into a full-on thing. It is, but I was showing it to my girlfriend, and she was like, you know, there was a mass shooting yesterday too, right? And I was like, oh, perfect timing on my behalf, huh? Fuck.
Right.
But I hope they don't blame it on video games. Or if they do, good thing I struck while the iron's relevant, I guess. That's the thing I've been saying a lot lately, is strike while the iron's relevant.
Yeah.
That's part of why I made that The Boys pin, is because that show like just came out. People are still watching it. It's pretty popular. It's getting more reviews. So I was like, well, of all my possibilities, I should jump on that one right now, because I know it'll sell. It'll be fine. You know, so I keep on saying now too, like, so I was saying I want to lean away from the fan arty stuff, mostly because I went to this thing yesterday called Gross Encounters. And it was a whole entire like convention, much like a Comic-Con or like an art show, but it was for lowbrow artists. So like the kind of stuff that I do, where it's like the neon colors, dicks, lots of perverse shit. It's lowbrow art, gross out art, punk rock art. Basically, it was like I was telling you, it was Santa Cruz helped put it on. Really great stuff. But seeing that, not a lot of fan arty stuff there. It's all pretty original stuff, you know, like the goopy faces and skulls and shit. So like monsters, kaiju, there are people making their own toys there. There's people like tattooing there. It was amazing, by the way.
That sounds awesome.
It's fucking badass. It used to be called Lowbrow Con, and it was 2 years ago, I think. And
where was it at?
Lowbrow Con was in Milwaukee at the time. It was 2 years ago, and this one was in the Norse Hall down off of 11th and like Burnside-ish. Pretty decent. But LowbrowCon a couple years back is actually what motivated me to start the Butterface Creations thing, because I saw all these artists, and it was a lot of the same artists there this time too. But I saw all these artists, and I was like, well, I'm of equal or slightly lesser skill than most of these people, and I have the same connects to be making shirts and buttons and pins and stickers, etc., etc. No reason I couldn't just do all this if I kind of formulated my shit into a brand. Like at the time I had a Facebook page, it was just The Art of Butter 503. That's pretty just basic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I still follow that page.
It fucking should have disappeared by now, because I deleted it when I made the Butterface page.
Okay.
Yeah, I was telling everybody like, hey, you got a month to translate over to this page, and then it's over. But so going to LowbrowCon, I saw that, and I was like, okay, so I just need a good name to fly it under, and jokingly called it Butterface Creations one day because my nickname is Butter, obviously, and then my girlfriend has a huge thing in this too. She's a big motivator. She supports me in everything she does. She also creates things herself. She's getting into making videos nowadays. While I won't say what I call her as a nickname, it does have the word face in it. So
Okay.
she just doesn't like me calling her it like, because it's goofy and it's romantic and cheesy or whatever. So I was like, hey, why don't I just call it Butterface Creations, because it's both of our names in a sense. It's both of our nicknames. And then a lot of the stuff I was drawing, especially at the time, much like the logo, girls with melting faces. I always joke that everything I can draw is great, Butterface. So that's how we came up with that name, and ever since then, I've been trying to keep it steady on that brand, where like I have a consistent look. If you see something, you should be able to know that's a Butterface thing right there.
Yeah.
And so like so that was a couple years ago that I started doing that. I tried to formulate everything under the brand, and so far it's been going good. I tried to get into Gross Encounters, but I feel like I both didn't have enough product for them, because I mean I have like 2 pen designs and a handful of stickers, and yeah, I got a bunch of like original stuff, yes, but it's fan arty stuff. It's very fan arty stuff that I'm trying to push off, because it's what I sketch in my meantime. My Batmans, my Ninja Turtles, you know, I fucking used to draw Deadpool like I was going to win a prize if I kept doing it. It's surprises I can draw Deadpool really easily now, and that's like printing money for nerds, which is fun. So
that's true.
Yeah, so I feel like that's why I got Ghost Encountered, as I call it, is because like I sent them a message and they were like, yeah, if a table opens up, we'll let you know, and then they just never got back to me. And I know a table opened up and shit. But anyway, so but going back there this time, I kind of figured it out. So I'm starting to lean away from the fan arty stuff again, hence why I'm going back into like the crazy arcade cabinets or the creepy faces and stuff. I actually drew out a list of things. I was like, stuff I can draw that's not like, that's just universally cool. You know, so it's like skulls, kaiju, aliens. I drew retro sci-fi. I was like, nobody draws retro sci-fi stuff anymore, and that looks cool. I like how 1950s thought that the 2000s was going to look. Yeah. And you could probably not get away with that nowadays because the future, like we were saying earlier with sci-fi, pretty much has no choice but to be dystopian. Yeah. But that really clean, shiny, sleek future of the future, I thought that was really cool. So I want to start doing stuff like that, like Mars Attacks kind of alien shit.
Dude, yeah, I think that's a great idea. That's neat, right? That aesthetic is really cool.
Right. So stuff like that, and like skulls too. I was saying everybody likes skulls. You know, human skulls. We all got one. They're pretty universally cool. If you look at a skull, you just think, oh, that's tight. And same thing like animal skulls. I was noticing a lot of people at Gross Encounters drew or used animal skulls in one way, shape, or form. Yeah. And I was like, that's neat, because animal skulls are different and weird shaped.
My wife buys a lot of art that is made of animal bones.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I bought her a wind chime made out of animal bones.
Dude, that's tight.
Yeah.
Nice.
I used to know this girl on Facebook, and we're still Facebook friends, but I don't think she does this anymore, where she was really into like weird taxidermy.
Yeah.
And she would bleach the bones and, you know, go through the whole process. She'd take pictures of it, and she came up with that fucking wind chime, and I messaged her immediately. It was my wife's birthday coming up. And I was like, I need that. I don't care what you want for it money-wise. Just tell me, and I'll send it to you right now.
I feel weird finding bones and skulls and taxidermy real cool as a vegetarian, but I'm also not a vegetarian because of animal cruelty. You know what I mean? That's just a choice. So I'm like, do stuff with animal bones. It's cool. Whatever.
Was becoming a vegetarian part of becoming more healthy, more fit?
Partially, yeah.
Your girl's a vegetarian as well.
Yeah, and
right?
I did it pretty much as support for her, because I was like, well, that wouldn't be very fair, especially since she does most of the cooking, because she's good at it and I'm not. You know, she's an artist in the kitchen. I'm an artist on paper, as I like to say. Yeah. So I would be like, it wouldn't be fair to be like, hey, well, while you're in there cooking dinner, make one with meat for me. So figured to give it a shot, and I think it's been almost 3 years now, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just keep doing it. I'm stubborn. Like, I eat eggs. That's fine. And I'll eat stuff that's cooked in animal fat, because whatever. Like, bad vegetarian at it, but I still won't eat like normal ass meat, because I mean, chicken tastes good, but they're so cute. Chickens are precious.
And at this point, your digestive system would probably get upset.
Probably hate it a bunch. Yeah,
if you put like a piece of bacon in your mouth because you were high. And
There's
like,
a lot of really good fake
bacon.
There's a lot of really good fake meats out there, though. They make it easy. And even then, most of what my diet consists of, I don't need meat. I mean, you can still enjoy all the major shit foods, as it were. Besides like burgers, and even then, there's good burgers. There's good fake burgers. Carl's Jr.'s got those Impossible burgers. They're not bad.
I've heard they're pretty good.
It honestly, sometimes it makes me think that they're just fucking with me and they're using actual patties. So I don't do it very often, but the few times where I've even had them myself and bought them from like Winco or something, because Winco carries them now. But I'm just like, every time I'm like, are y'all playing a fast one on me? Like, if I didn't see it in its raw meat form and know that, okay, it does not have any of the actual properties of raw meat other than looking red and kind of bleeding, I'd be like, y'all are just giving me actual meat. I know it.
Here's a funny question, aside from the, just it would probably destroy your digestive system. That lab-grown meat.
Yeah. What about it? Oh, like would I eat that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
As a vegetarian.
Maybe not. No.
No.
I just meat in general. I'm not into anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude, I've
don't want to come off as one of those cocky guys. It's like, I'm just not into meat. It's just not for me anymore. I'm not up in people's faces about it or nothing.
I've been wanting to do the vegetarian thing because I know
it's easier now than it's ever been.
One of the things that I say a lot, like when I talk about it to my family, is I've never met a fat vegetarian, right? And they exist. They're things that exist.
I've personally never met one either. But, I mean, I was one for a while there, but I was also an alcoholic, and that's what I attribute being fat to. So,
but like you said, you can eat Twinkies if you're a vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just sit there and only eat Twinkies.
Old drummer from my band, Mr. Skip Reason himself, he was a vegan, and his diet consisted mostly of beer and Pringles and nuts, But still, beer and Pringles, it's not very healthy.
No.
He was still in the best shape out of any of us. So, but he's also a drummer, and
Yeah.
you know, he was
Burn
very
a lot
much.
of
He
calories
was also very
drumming.
much a guru type of guy, man. I miss Skip Reason every single day. Bottom of my heart, miss that guy. 'Cause he was not only a good drummer but a great friend and just a good person all around. But yeah, you should have seen it when we first found out he was vegan, because we'd known him for like a month. It was like he came out as gay. We were all just like, dude, for real? Does it hurt? You know, like, because it was like, you know, me and my bassist and my guitarist at the time, we didn't even know any vegetarians, so we were just like, whoa, full blown vegan in the band. How'd you sneak in here? You know,
Right? How'd you get past the meat guard?
Yeah, exactly. We were like, I swear I've seen you eat a cheeseburger before. And it's like, nope, side of fries. Just eating that side of fries. Love fries. Fries are good.
Yeah.
Fries are really good. That's my impression of Greg, by the way. I'm sorry, Greg, if he ever ends up watching this, which I think he will.
I fucking I just keep toying with the idea, but I lack the stick-to-itiveness. I'll be like, today's the last day. I'm not eating meat tomorrow. Wake up immediately the next day and grab 2 slices of bologna and just eat them.
That's the worst one, too.
Dude, and I'm a terrible human.
Oh,
I eat like a 10-year-old child.
Man, the bologna makes me mouth cringe.
Dude.
That was a pirate sentence right there, by the way. Bologna makes me mouth cringe.
Dude, I legit eat as bad or worse than my 13-year-old son.
Jesus.
And it's very hard to be a good parent when you set that example.
You know,
I have to give him these speeches all the time.
If you want to be eating fake meat, you don't got to go for bologna. They actually make really good fake meats that are plant-based material.
No,
Try
it's
some
not
field roast.
fake meat. It's real meat made from undesirable parts of probably turned animals. Possibly
but
vampires.
enough about my penis, am I right? But God, it's like talking to my ex-wife all over again. You can tell that's a joke because nobody's fucking marrying me.
Just gonna say, I didn't know you were married. I was gonna,
No, that's just always the joke I go to.
I have 3 ex-wives.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I am a serial romantic.
I used to joke that I don't have exes. I just have alibis and body bags.
Alibis and body bags.
But that's very rude to my ex-girlfriends, and I'm a different person now, so I'm not that mean. Although they are all still dead to me, I don't vocalize it as much.
So, when you started doing the pins, that was like a thing, right? Like,
what do you mean?
When you started doing it, it kind of took off. It seemed to take off.
Kind of. So
pretty well, like
the
right
last
away.
design did, because the Guar and the Mario Odorous one did, because I've said it once, I'll say it a million times, just like I said with Deadpool, if you just put Odorous on anything, they will buy it on a name your price basis. And I really like this design, and I wanted to do it as a pin, as a huge Nintendo and Guar fan. I was like, I'm just doing it.
Do you want to show the pin so that people can see it?
Get it in there. It's this one, zoom and enhance. It's Mario jumping, but it's also Odorous from Guar, and he's got Toad on the Cuttlefish of Cthulhu as opposed to the actual Cuttlefish. But I knew that would sell well because, again, Guar fans will buy anything. But like I have 2 other designs too that didn't sell as well. Like I have my logo pin, which was the first pin I made. But at this point, I also just use it as a promotional good. Like when I went to Gross Encounters yesterday, if I liked an artist and I bought something from them, I gave them my pin, and I was like, hey, it's got my contact info on the back. Let's be homies, because I want more. I need artist friends. If you're an artist, for the love of God, be my friend. If you color digitally, hit me up. I fucking hate coloring. So color my line work. Anyway, so that pin
color my line work. That should be in a reality show.
God, please.
We could get like 5 of them, line them up, and make them do tests.
I would absolutely motherfucking love that. Okay, just because I like doing line work, and then like the first layer of colors, fine, I'm cool. The first layer of shading, I'm starting to get tired of it, but I'm still cool. Second layer of shading, all right, I fucking hate this. Highlights, I fucking hate this. Because, again, it has to go from sketch to inks to colors to highlights to shading to done. And then backgrounds. Anyway, I feel like I veered way off topic here. What were we talking about before
We don't
that?
have topics.
Okay.
We don't do
Cool.
topics.
We do
do stoner ramblings. I think we were talking about the pins, and you were talking about
so the first design didn't go so well. It like sold maybe 3 or 4, and it's just my logo. It's just the melting faced girl or whatever, and it sold like 3 or 4. And then I did a collaboration with my buddy Justin Parker of HorribleHomeVideo.com. By the way, go and support him because he is a much better artist than me. He's also one of my mentors. Yeah. He's a great dude, awesome artist. He's part of why I made this Pee Wee shirt, because he put together a really cool VHS box. We can gush about him later if I have a plugs section. I'm going to plug my friends like a weird porno.
Yeah,
anyway.
By the way, feel free to plug anyone anytime during the interview.
Oh, I will.
Yeah,
So I brought my plug-in pants. Anyway, so the
I've
second
got
design,
18.
though,
I don't mean to show off, but I've got like 18 or 19 subscribers on
nice.
YouTube.
13, 14 more of those. We got ourselves a winning thing. So I got this other design that me and Hid did, the Critter from Critters.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
dope.
It was really cool. So we put out that pin, and like I think he might have sold out of his, or he threw his in one of his VHS box. I still have a ton of them because not a lot of people in my friends list even know what Critters are. And
I
shit.
love
So
Critters actually.
it's cool.
Yeah.
Buy a pin.
How much are they?
It's same $6. I keep my pin prices pretty low because I've been blessed with a good pin connect, which I've also been sworn to secrecy on. Since I made the odorous pin, I've had like 5 people come up to me like, "Where do you make your pins?" And I'm like, I literally cannot tell you, or I would be betraying. It'd be like it'd be Anakin and Obi-Wan levels of betrayal. I just couldn't do that. I can't outsource that information. I'll tell you all day where I get my stickers made because that's pretty easy information, but yeah. So the odorous pin took off because it was a design that'll sell well. So that's why I was joking earlier. I was like, I hope people like me when I'm not doing his fan arty stuff, because like after the boys pin, I'm gonna do the arcade cabinet, and then I'm probably gonna end up doing like the N64 and Dreamcast controllers because they're all on the same line basically. They all have the same color scheme, same general theme. So I'm gonna keep that going probably in pins and stuff.
Dude, I'm fucking super into all of that.
Yeah,
like,
those are cool, right? And that's really good walking the line of fan art and the lowbrow stuff, because like at the lowbrow con, like none of it was fan arty, and especially like all the pins I got, like some of these, like there's movie monsters like Dracula's and Frankenstein's, and there's a gremlin of sorts, but like a lot of it's stuff like this where it's just like random abstract cool color shit.
Yeah.
So
and that reminds me a lot of Ed Templeton. Are you familiar with Ed Templeton?
It's a name I hear a lot. There's a lot of Eds. There's Ed Templeton, Ed Roth.
He owns Toy Machine Skateboards.
Oh, okay.
And he's an artist,
of course,
a visual artist.
Because of course
he did
skateboard art is a big major thing for people, isn't it?
These are Ed Templeton design trucks.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah.
Eyeballs.
He does
Everybody
a lot of
likes
eyeballs.
eyes. Yeah, eyes are pretty fun to draw. Eyes have that same thing with skulls, where it's just like everybody has them and they look cool.
A lot of cartoony eyeballs. I guess
Nice.
I should show that to the camera.
Yeah, I got to see it, and it was neat. Aye, Captain.
Yeah. Shout out to Lifeblood. Shout out to Lifeblood Skateboards.
Whoop whoop.
Local Portland skateboard company.
Whoop whoop.
I don't know where they get their boards pressed, but I know the company is headquartered here in Portland.
Yep.
Also, shout out to Portland Wheel Company, because
Shouts.
they make skateboard wheels that I have on my skateboard.
Yep. So you might as well shout them out. Who knows? They might see this one day and be like, "We're gonna give you free
I
stuff."
don't even know if they exist. I looked for them recently and I couldn't find any. So
Damn.
they might have gone out of business. I bought that complete 5 years ago.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
God, time is a bitch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just makes things disappear.
It's weird.
Fuck, something I've been tripping on lately that you might honestly be into is game preservation.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the digital medium and shit, like, stuff just disappears for life and you can't get it anymore. And there's amazing stuff that you just cannot fucking play anymore unless...
That's why it's very important that we either find the source code so that we can create a ROM, or we rip the ROMs.
Dude.
It's very important. And people think that's theft, and it's not theft. It's literally preservation.
Yeah, it's like the same way people keep movies alive and shit. Like, dude, there's so many fucking good ones. And it's sad because people don't see games as art like that. So they're just like, oh, it's just a little stupid little video game. But it's like, I would never want to deny somebody the ability to play Scott Pilgrim versus the World the game. Because that game is fucking amazing.
Is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's tits. But guess what? You can't fucking get it unless you got a homie that sells you a PS3 that's got it on it. I got one. Guess what? Never parting with it. It's like 30% of the reason why I still own a PS3. I got a PS4 too. But guess what? Can't play Scott Pilgrim versus the World on that. Can't play Metal Gear Solid 1 on that. Can't play fucking... Can't even think of anything else I can't play on that now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Or like...
Do you have the all the way backwards PS3? No. I want an all the way back. That's why I don't own a PS3. I'm holding out for a really nice example of an all the way back PS3.
If you were to look at my PS3, or at least what I have saved on it, it's a glorified PS1.
Yeah.
Because I went back and I bought so many PS1 games because PS1 is my shit. I was trying to tell you earlier, my never-ending journey to vilify the Nintendo 64, because guess what, people? Wasn't that good of a system. PlayStation fucked it up, man. It was a way better system in that generation, and I like to give Nintendo 64 its props for some things that it did do right, like 3D platformers. Yeah, they did really good with Mario 64. It's cool. They nailed it.
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time's a pretty good RPG from what I've been told. I've never played it because Legend of Zelda's never been my shit, but hey, that's cool.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. I play Ocarina of Time via the GameCube because I have the collector's edition GameCube reissues.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's nice.
I wouldn't play it on the N64.
The
I hate the
N64 was so
controller.
weird. What were they thinking with that controller?
No, it's terrible.
What the fuck were they?
It's fucking terrible.
Like somebody should have stopped them and been like, "No, this is dumb."
No. And I'm in
so bad.
some game collecting groups, and it's almost sacrilegious to some of those people to talk shit about the N64. They talk about the N64 like it's a shrine.
It's got some good ideas and good things on it.
It's just they don't break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's true.
GameCubes don't break either, though.
No.
I don't know if you ever knew of a show back in the day called X-Play. It was on G4.
Yeah, I remember X-Play.
So during the PS2, GameCube, Xbox days, they did a bunch of tests on some old Mythbusters shit where they just fucked up the systems. They just put them through hell. They were beating them and throwing them and fucking running them over with steamrollers. GameCube ran every time because Nintendo is on top of their shit when it comes to technology and hardware. That is definitely for sure.
My GameCube is a Gen 1 GameCube from the first run.
It's a beauty.
It's
shiny.
And the reason that I have it is because after that, they didn't put digital and analog ports on the back. Only digital.
Nice.
So
you can still play it on an old CRT.
If you have the both ports, you can anchor a HDMI adapter because it can output 480p.
Nice.
And
GameCube, by the way, is the superior Nintendo system to N64.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Once
Better
they jumped
in
up
every
to
way.
discs, everything on fucking GameCube. Skeet all over the fucking place, man. Like,
dude, I remember playing Soul Calibur on GameCube, and I feel weird playing Soul Calibur on anything else.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
People still play competitive Smash Brothers with
they
GameCube
still sell
controllers.
GameCube controllers to play
Yeah.
Smash with. They actually prefer that you do.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, like with the 64 too, there's a lot of stuff where it's like, the one I'm always on about is Mario Kart 64 because Mario Kart is cool, sure. Double Dash is where everything was chef's kiss, fucking great. Wouldn't change anything about it. 64 though doesn't deserve all the dick riding that it gets.
Yeah.
I'm always saying, dude, Diddy Kong Racing is the Kart 64 game you should be playing because it's, for example, Mario Kart gives you everything right away. You just turn on the game, you have all the racers, you have all the tracks, you have all the cups, you're good to go. And it's a fun party game, sure. Why not? But even Smash Bros made you unlock things. You still had to unlock Luigi and Ness and Captain Falcon, the best character in the game, by the way. If you don't scream Falcon Punch when you open a door, what's wrong with you? Anyway, but Mario Kart, it just gives you everything right from the jump. There's no rewarding aspect of it other than just beating your friends. Whereas like Diddy Kong Racing had a story mode. You had to unlock certain characters. You had to unlock and progress through that shit. There was boss battles, boss races. Whole lot of shit going on there, and you could be in hovercrafts and planes, which I don't think they did in Mario Kart until like 7 or 8. So
like 8.
Yeah, it's infinite replayability to an extent because you can go through all the tracks and the different things, and like some tracks, it wouldn't make sense to go through it in a hovercraft. It's a mostly air level, but you could, and you could do it as Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day because Rare was tits. I honestly think the N64 was just a playground for Rare to do stuff because Nintendo's first-party titles weren't that great, but the Rare stuff was where it was at.
That's true.
Yeah, I played the dog shit out of Banjo-Kazooie.
There's a really interesting backstory to that, too.
Oh, yes, is there?
Because Rare... So, Silicon Graphics, I believe was the name of the company that produced the prototype hardware for the GameCube. They were the people out there making 3D visuals for movies.
Yeah.
They very expensive fucking workstation computers. So Rare was started by someone who worked at Silicon Graphics. So they had access to that. And that's why Rare got a jump start on the polygon future of gaming.
Yeah, and I mean they made a bunch of good games. Like any good game I can think about on the 64 probably came from Rare. Even as much as they give GoldenEye shit for not aging well, it was still made by Rare. Still what people remember the 64 best for.
Perfect Dark,
Perfect
was not, I believe, on a Nintendo console, but it was still the shit.
Perfect Dark was on 64.
Was it?
Started on 64, and then they did Perfect Dark 0 on because it was Perfect Dark 0 out of 10 on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, and I hated that game.
I didn't play it, man.
Yeah. One of my roommates in college got it and was like, "Oh, dude, you got to play Perfect Dark," because it was like the only game for the 360 at the time.
Yeah, it was one of the launch titles that didn't suck.
Yeah, and and I played it, and I was like, let's play Halo 2 or Halo 3 or whatever was out at the time.
Right.
Because fuck this whole thing.
Totes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 360 was.
So, with Marvel, how do you feel about Marvel starting to kind of wind down with the MCU?
I honestly think they could have just ended it at Endgame.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a really good ending. Like, it wasn't the best movie in the world. I'm not going to say it is. It's not even in my top 10 movies of all time. I know there are Marvel movies in that list, but Endgame ain't one of them. But that would have been a great way to end it.
What's
They
your
could have
favorite
just stopped.
What's your favorite MCU movie?
Fucking goddamn it! Shoot me in the face. Probably Guardians. Guardians 1 was really nice.
Dude, it was
And-
so good. I can watch it infinitely.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
Avengers 1 is really good too. Avengers 1 has its flaws, but it's infinitely quotable, infinitely fun. It's still one of the only Marvel movies that has made me jump up and down with excitement. And like the way I phrase it is like, especially when I saw it in theaters, from the second Captain America goes Hulk, smash. That movie does not stop.
Yeah.
It just fucking goes, and it's a million miles a minute up until they're eating shawarma at the end. It's a
One of
beautiful
my
movie.
first stand-up jokes that ever came to be a finished joke when I started out doing stand-up like 5 years ago was about the first Avengers movie. Basically the premise of the joke, it's a 6-minute joke, first of all, which is
Can I have the TLDR?
hands down the longest joke I ever fucking wrote that actually works on stage.
But I mean, it's appropriate for something like Avengers.
Right? It really is.
Yeah.
So the premise is pretty much that the Avengers were racist and sexist as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at the inception of Marvel and the characters, mostly white dudes, you know, although Marvel really broke some ground on including black heroes and women. It's obviously a tongue-in-cheek joke if you know the history of comics, but if you've only seen the movie, the joke is still funny.
Yeah.
Right? So I basically said that the Black Widow is just a secretary who knows karate.
Yeah, she pretty much is.
She has no significance to the plot.
Except to die.
Yeah. I talked about how...
Sacrifice her like we give a shit. I'm like, who even were you?
And you know when Nick Fury and that other dude stole the helicarrier and like showed up at the end of the movie, like the end of this like 45-minute fight?
Yeah.
I was like, so the only two black dudes, this is the main punchline, the only two black dudes in the movie show up late and in a stolen car.
Fuck. Ugh, that's nice. That's a
Yeah.
chef's kiss.
Yeah, but then
doing
they
that.
cleaned it up in the subsequent Avengers movies and made it way more inclusive and
Right.
a lot less racist.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't tell this joke
I
anymore.
know. How do you think people are going to react to Black Captain America?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, right. That's
Are
what
you?
I'm saying.
You're not one of those guys who
No, fuck
gives
no,
a
I don't
shit.
care. I thought
No.
I thought it was stupid at first because who gives a fuck about Falcon? But you give him something to do, and sure, maybe he's cool. Anybody could have the shield.
Right? Yeah.
It's fine. Whatever.
fine.
It's cool. Steve Rogers in the movies is really cool. I got mileage out of him, and you get to know, hey, he got to live his life as an old man, and they'll probably develop that in the What If cartoon.
Woman
Who
Thor.
knows?
You give a shit?
No, fuck no.
No,
Well,
me
that's
either.
how it went in the comics.
Yeah, I don't.
So
I don't.
I'm very surprised I got Natalie Portman to come back.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
true.
I thought she fucking hated the shit.
She was really, I think, very hard to get back. And I think they
They
had,
had to use
make
old
her.
footage from her from Endgame,
Yeah, and I think they had to offer her like a
but they can
piece
because they're
of the
Disney.
crown.
Yeah.
You know,
But that's fine, because that's cool. That's whatever. I keep on joking. So I got action figures for days, and so with I was describing to you earlier the Marvel Legends. They're like one of my favorite ones to collect because they make everybody. You know, like they have movie lines and they have comic lines, and like the X-Men ones always sell really well because you have no choice but to be comic accurate with the X-Men toys. But then they also have the MCU toys and then like the normal comic version. So I collect a lot of the MCU ones because I like the movies and shit. But I was saying I also have I have like a bunch of the X-Men ones because who doesn't love the X-Men? And the X-Men ones, you have no choice but to be comic accurate, so it's just really, really cool looking. And now that the X-Men are coming back into the MCU, I'm like, I'm not buying a second set. They're gonna have to be really fucking good in the MCU to make me buy MCU X-Men. God damn it! I already made my choice on that one. You know, it's the same reason why I don't own a comic accurate Captain America. I have fucking Chris Evans Captain America. It's because that's the one I like the most. And I also have a raging boy crush on Chris Evans. He's just so pure. And he's so handsome
he's the
and sweet.
Best Captain America.
Oh my god. Yeah, when he
is
lifted that
Captain
hammer,
America.
everybody got a boner.
Yeah.
Come on. You could not love that scene. That was
Dude,
amazing.
That was my probably
Dude, did not see that coming.
high point.
That was my I didn't even think about that.
And I love when they gave maybe 2 or 3 seconds of screen time to everyone who saw it happen.
Applause break.
Go.
It's applause break.
Yeah.
Marvel does that all the time.
It's great.
CinemaSins talks about it, or like applause break. You know? I love and hate CinemaSins because I think it's funny, but I think it makes people nitpick movies too hard. And I get that they're doing it for the sake of making content and being funny, and sometimes they make good points, but a lot of the times they're just like, hey, here's a stupid thing. you know.
Yeah.
But it's for comedy. They're doing it for comedy.
Yeah,
But then people watch that and everybody thinks, oh, I could nitpick a film into the end of time. I'll tell you everything wrong with The Last Jedi. I don't know why Kermit the Frog is telling everybody what's wrong with The Last Jedi.
Kermit the Frog should tell us what's wrong with The Last Jedi.
First of all, not enough Muppets. Where's the pigs? Ah! Everything's all made out of CGI. I almost definitely clipped on that one.
Why is Luke Skywalker the bad guy? I don't know. I sound like Seinfeld right there.
Yeah. Was he the bad guy?
We should have Kermit the Frog and Jerry Seinfeld talk about Last Jedi.
And then we'll immediately lose all of your listeners.
What's up with this Jedi? Why won't Luke Skywalker just die?
I mean, why won't he, though? He's going to come back as a Force ghost, and you know what? I love Mark Hamill, but homie, stop.
Dude, he's pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen his interview footage? Have you checked it out recently?
Nah.
Dude, he just hates it.
I'm trying to go as blind into this one as possible. I already watched the newer trailer for it, and I'm just like, I already know too much. Too much.
Yeah. But, I love it. I love Star Wars. Yeah. I will go to every Star Wars movie. I don't care what people's opinions of them are.
Totally.
You can love them. You can hate them.
It's very hard to go into it blind, though.
I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And I'm even going to try to go to fucking Galaxy's Edge if it doesn't shut down.
I know. I'm surprised that's not doing so well. What
Dude,
the fuck?
It's fucked.
If you released that around the time that they did, the special editions in, the late 90s, you would have had a better chance, I think.
Yeah.
Star Wars wasn't really sullied. I mean, in this post-prequels universe, even if people are looking at the prequels with a little bit better light these days, not me. I still think they're mostly stupid, but that's just me. But you still have it's a hard sell to get people to come to a whole Star Wars land. People our age, fuck yeah, we are in it.
Yeah.
Kids, hit or miss. And guess it's mostly
I think that's why they basically made it a Star Wars themed flea market.
Yeah.
With everything, because it's just a Star Wars themed store.
Isn't that what Disney is anyway?
Pretty much.
I've never been to Disneyland.
I haven't either.
The closest I've been is watching that Defunct Land series on YouTube that just talks about Disneyland rides, and I'm like, that would have been interesting to go on. I guess I'm never going to get to, though.
Well, yeah, I wish I wasn't a poor kid.
That's... Yeah, this is what I say watching video game videos, too. I have to wait until the hype windows died down on every game I want to play, and it comes out for $20 on a PlayStation sale.
Yep.
They all do eventually,
That's why I focus my collection on last-gen stuff.
That's why I'm just now getting into the Yakuza series.
Yeah.
That and it's just been recommended a bunch, and I'm getting tired of shooters.
Because I'm kind of an Xbox guy.
Ugh.
I know.
I'll still be your friend, but...
I own a PS4, though.
I know.
So,
But Xbox people are the worst.
We can still dock penises. That's all I'm saying. I own a PS4. Our dicks can dock.
I don't have many things that can be construed as a racist opinion besides Xbox people are the fucking worst. No offense.
And anyone who I get annoyed by it unless it's in good fun. Anyone who has one of those really extraordinarily extreme opinions about something.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck Xbox, I won't even touch an Xbox. If you have an Xbox in your house and I show up, I'm going to piss on it. I don't want to be your friend. Right?
So I'll just be grabbing my things then. It was really nice coming on the show. Everybody, if you want to follow me online, that's... I'm just kidding, by the way. I'm not going to piss on your goods.
But I am adjusted to the offset analog sticks.
Yeah.
So I actually don't play much PS4 because I have trouble adjusting.
It's just a hair off. It's like shitting on a toilet that's not your own. It's not going to work.
I've been shopping for some really nice PS4 controllers that have because I have I've got the Xbox One Elite controller, which is hands down, absolutely, without question, the best mass-produced controller ever made.
Nice.
I can put one in your hand if you've never held it, and you will agree.
Probably.
But
I don't know. Tough sell.
PlayStation, Sony doesn't have they're not producing that thing, but there are some third-party companies that are producing some really high-end,
nice,
configurable stuff with the modular bits.
I always feel like I haven't seen third-party controllers since the days of Mad Cats.
Rest in peace, Mad Cats.
Man, yeah, see-through controllers, man. When was the last time you saw one of those?
When you just have to play Mortal Kombat with your friend and you only have $10.
We're showing the grays on our beard right now. They're like, back in our days, you could see through the controllers, and they had something called the turbo button, but don't ever use it during the torture sequence of Metal Gear 1, or Liquid will know, or it was Ocelot. Ocelot will know. Fuck, I just ruined a big Metal Gear thing there, by the way, by not knowing the difference between Liquid and Ocelot, but in my defense, they became the same person at some point, so who cares? I'm technically right.
The Metal Gear lore is so fucking deep.
Oh my god.
God,
If you
it's
ever
so
want to
deep.
talk about it, I'm your guy, because I've played all those games religiously. That is favorite series of all time behind like Mega Man and shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love those games.
I'm also a huge Mega Man fan.
Nice. Mega Man is my shit. Hell, even one of my favorite rappers is Mega Ran. He's a guy who just raps over Mega Man beats. He actually does a lot of other good video game beats too. I learned this after seeing him in concert recently. He does a lot of really good video game beats, and like he has entire albums about wrestling. He did an album over BTS, which is a K-pop band. He remixed a bunch of their beats and rapped over it. Like that's his gimmick, is that he'll just take random nerd shit and rap over it. But he also doesn't cuss. He's pretty wholesome. He's pretty cool. He's a great rapper. He's got good flow. Very East Coast, very Chicago.
Is he the guy you got to talk on the phone to?
No, that's MC Chris.
Yeah,
MC
okay.
Chris is the fucking Nerdcore King Supreme, Fets Vet and all that good stuff. Anyway, so Mega Man's cool. I love those games because I played them as a kid, and I think most of them evolved well up until about like X4, and then you can just put everything away.
Well, and they're very hard.
Yeah, but that's fun.
So,
That's part of the
yeah,
fun.
I like
it's,
that
It's
about
good.
them.
It's good pixel platforming and shooting. It's a great idea. Plus the rock paper scissors things of the bosses I always enjoyed. Plus good character design too. I think that's always what it came down to me. Is I like how
Yeah.
Mega Man looks. I like how Dr. Wily looks. I like how the
Yeah.
Robot Masters look, as corny as they can be. Heat Man from Mega Man 2 is a Zippo with arms. He'll punch you. It's cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
And then the music too. The music, if you can deny the music, you are a heartless person.
It's the best.
Dude,
It's the best.
Mega Man 2 soundtrack has been in my top 5 albums of all time for my whole life.
Yeah.
And it has not changed no matter how many albums I listen to. Like the top 3 will always shuffle around, but Mega Man 2 is always in there. I used to play that game just to listen to the soundtrack. I used to have that soundtrack on a tape. I used to listen to remixes of it. I still listen to remixes of it. It's like Dark Side of the Moon to me. You can play those chords in that progression in any song style or any like genre, and it'll work and it'll be amazing. It'll be great. You listen to Bubble Man as a techno song, it's great. You listen to Heat Man as a funk song, it's great. So that's cool. And then Metal Gear was evolving a little bit, and that's like my favorite stories. Even though they're weird and convoluted, they're still fucking beautiful games.
Yeah.
And Kojima is insane.
Yeah.
True auteur, if there ever was one.
God.
But also I love it because ever since Metal Gear 2, he's just been trying to stop. He has not wanted to do them. Like, Metal Gear 2 was a big fuck you to everybody because he was just like, oh, you want to play as Snake? You want to play as this fun little, perfect little Metal Gear Solid 2 sequel? Wrong! We're actually going to give you this little fucking bitchy little Raiden guy, and it's going to be like the most mundane sequel in the world, and it's actually a really good message about controlling information, but who cares? And then everybody's like, well, we didn't like that. Give us one that's better. And he's like, okay, fine. Last one this time, I swear. You're going to play as Big Boss in the Russian jungle. There's no jungles in Russia. Shut up, we're going to make it work. And it's going to be the greatest game of all time, which, by the way, it is. If you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, stop what you're doing. Go play it right now. That's a game that I can play right now and still discover new things about, and I've played it once a year every year since I was like 16. It's insane. Great game. And even after that, he was like, and now I'm done. We've given you the best Metal Gear game of all time. And the people go, well, what about all those leftover questions from Metal Gear 2? Who were the Patriots? What was going on there, dude? Come on, answer these questions. And he's like, okay, one more. You get one more in Metal Gear 4. It's going to be weird. It's going to be it's going to be arguably the worst one. It's not really the worst one. It's just very story heavy.
Yeah.
That's the one where you're getting like hour and a half long cutscenes and you're just like, make it stop, please. And then
just starting that game.
Yeah.
Is a long process.
Yeah. Somebody actually gave really good advice. There's this guy who makes Metal Gear videos on YouTube, Super Bunny Hop. When he went through it, he gave this really good advice of just play a chapter a day. Because you get a 20-minute section in the beginning that is explaining, that's your briefing. Then you get a run around for a little bit. You do a bit of the mission. You have a boss battle. You get the debriefing and then cut it. And that's like a good hour and a half gameplay. Because if you go from that debriefing into the rebriefing for the next chapter, that's when you get your hour of cutscenes. And you're just like, oh my fucking God, I get it. Nano machines, would you get on with this, please?
Right.
So yeah, if you just play a chapter a day, it's actually not bad. That game, despite it being one of the worst games ever, well, not like that, but one of the worst Metal Gears, only game to ever make me cry. For what it's worth. They have this scene, I think it's chapter 3 or 4. I'm going to choke up while talking about it. You're going back to Shadow Moses, which is the first game, basically Metal Gear Solid 1. That's where it all took place. And the chapter starts with you literally replaying the first section of it in like a PS1 emulator that was built into the PS3.
Nice.
So you actually play through the first chunk of like the dock and the helipad, and you play it in the Metal Gear Solid style. It looks shitty in PS1, and it plays the way you remember, and you're just like, oh man, this comes out of left field. And then Snake wakes up. He was having a dream, and then you're approaching the real Shadow Moses now, and you're seeing it in PS3 graphics, which are amazing, you know, because it's been a million years, and they're playing revamped versions of the music. And Snake, if you don't know the game, is all older in that. Like the entire point of that game is the passage of time and how things age and how things get fucked up, and you have to go through Shadow Moses as it's aged and as it's deteriorating, and just between the music and the visuals and being there to interact at all, felt a little tear come down the eyes. I had to pause it and give a little white man. It was, again, choking up thinking about it because it's a beautiful gaming moment. You don't.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think you'd get that from the same game that was 2 games ago, making you fighting a flamingo fucking dancing vampire as a bitchy little boy named Raiden. You know, it's crazy.
What do you think about his new game?
Oh, Death Stranding?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm on 100% on board.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's part of why I came around to this. Is he keeps wanting to end it. Metal Gear 4 was supposed to end it. Metal Gear 5 officially ended it because he got fired. You know, and he was like, "Fucking finally, I can leave." You know, and then he just like, "Well, I'm going to take my famous friends, and I'm going to take this new engine I'm going to work on. You guys can have this crappy old engine I was working on. I don't care, and I'm going to go make this crazy weird thing, which I've been following since fucking day one too. If you've been following Death Stranding, it's weird.
It's really weird.
They're
but
just
it's
now
so
starting
beautiful.
to leak stuff out too, and yeah, it's
The world he created in that
nuts.
game. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
He's
like you said, he's an
auteur.
auteur.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
If you just give him a budget and say, yeah, just do whatever you want, he'll come up with something cool.
Yeah.
I mean, part of his whole cool thing with the PlayStation too, since he's been on Sony for so long, is he always tries to play with the technology in different ways. You know,
Yeah.
like Metal Gear 1. It's cliche to say, but you had to switch your controllers over. Fucking Metal Gear 2 had a lot of weird shit going. Metal Gear 3 had a lot of stuff that was PS3 specific to it, and that's why it doesn't play well on newer systems.
Someone said hello to us.
Hi.
Felixy, I think it's hard to
that's
see. I
cool.
don't have my glasses on. I should probably put them on.
It's good
But
for you.
hello, if you're
Hi.
still here.
Welcome to us rambling about Metal Gear when we're
Yeah.
supposed to be at art and stuff.
Well, you know,
Metal
Gear is
art.
important.
That's
Yeah.
important to me. Fuck, dude. I think about Kojima and the way he does things a lot when I try to release stuff. Like I've said, if I ever got back into music, I wouldn't tell anybody. I would Kojima the dog shit out of it and just imply it very heavily, and then one day just drop it on you, and not just normally drop it on you too. Drop it on you with a bunch of lore you're supposed to know and shit, and a bunch of stuff where if you're digging deeper, you're like, oh, there's a thing. There's a thing I never thought about. Like, for example, if we want to wrap it back around to the beginning, and I was talking about being in a band and how I change stuff every album cycle. So for the first album cycle, when I went on stage, I was somewhat basic. You know, I had like a button-up shirt and I wore sunglasses because just hide the eyes. You know, why not? Plus, I'm looking into bright lights. Seemed like the right thing to do. Second albums, and like everything I'm writing at the time too is just kind of funny and goofy. If you listen to the first album of the Unusual Subjects, it's like songs about crabmen and songs about Jack the Ripper. And while there are songs that are like more positive and uplifting and seem more from the heart, it's not really exposing much. You know what I mean? So for the second album, I tried to think a little bit more like Kojima, and I came up with this concept of being evil butter. And so I had an eye patch on, and I changed my entire attire and everything that I was talking about. And the entire point of the eye patch was, as opposed to covering up my eyes and not really showing myself to anybody, now I'm exposing a part of myself to somebody. Not just anything, but the eye, the window to the soul, right? But I still got one covered up, so it's like, fuck's that all about? It's weird. It raised a lot of questions that nobody fucking asked, because nobody was fucking deep like that, you know? Or nobody would think there's anything deeper to just, well, this guy used to wear sunglasses, now he's got an eye patch. Everybody's thought was, what happened to your eye? And I'd always respond, the question is, why am I showing an eye now? And nobody ever really thought of that. You know, it's just like, it's because I was trying to expose more of myself. And then if you listen to the second Unsubs album, there's still goofy stuff on there. There's another song about crabmen on there. But then there's also stuff like a cycle of abuse, which is about my own fucking past of being abused and shit. Like, it's a little deeper. It's a little emotional because I'm showing off more of myself. And it's a little weirder, and it's not what you're used to. So like, that was a Kojima move in my head, though. I was just like, you have something that at first glance is just like, that's weird. And then if you start to dig deeper, you're like, it makes sense in this way.
Yeah.
All right, but nobody ever thought of that.
I think another game developer development team that does that really well is the team that's always worked on Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Nintendo in general.
Well, specifically Miyamoto. He just passed away, and I can't remember his name, and that makes me
Iwata?
feel. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, President Iwata.
Yeah, those guys, they really put that kind of like, everything means something, even stuff that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And in Breath of the Wild, for example, there's a lot of shit with Gerudo script, and you can translate that. It exists.
Sure.
Right? You can go out and find that translation.
I'm sure if something exists, people translate it.
Yeah, so that's cool. And I think that they do it. They do it in a different way. They tell a story in a different way.
Yeah.
than Kojima does, but they kind of do the same thing, but from two different angles.
They put immense detail into their work. Even all the open world games like Rockstar, they put a lot of detail into their stuff too. I hear that's why people like Dark Souls a bunch too, is they put a lot of thought and effort into their world and into their lore, but it's not handed to you on a silver platter. You actually have to work for it. Yeah. Which is cool. That's
and
tight.
In fact, you really, like, after one playthrough of the game, you don't get it. No. Like, totally I gained plus Dark Souls 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And I still, like, am watching lore videos on YouTube where I'm like, fuck, I had no idea.
Yeah. It's because you have to read, like, item descriptions and shit. I'm just like, I got time for that, mate.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to go over here and say this thing.
Fuck off, cunt.
Hey, I want to fucking read. I'm not in this to read. I'm here to smash some things with my sword and get murdered because I deep down want to die.
Dark Souls is the best game for, like, suicidal people.
I suppose. I mean, if you want to watch yourself die over and over again.
You died.
God, yeah.
My friend, when I was balls deep into Dark Souls, I had this friend who would come over and he'd walk in my front door and I'd be sitting there and he'd be like, "Oh, you're playing You Died."
Yep. It's just what the game's called. So you fucking died. Hate that shit. Made me so mad. Ugh.
I wonder how many people. We're having trouble with the connection, by the way. That's why I keep looking over here.
Boo!
Yeah, fuck it. Although it doesn't matter because I'm also recording this, so I'll just take the recording.
It just means that the live version's kind of choppy.
Yeah, the live version's
it's a little
choppy.
Jank.
Yeah. So for anyone watching, if you're watching this, disconnect and reconnect. I don't know why that is. I have extraordinarily expensive fiber internet, though.
Please forgive any and all technical difficulties.
Right. So please believe it's not because I have shitty internet. I have the finest internet money can buy in Portland,
there's still
going
to be people making fun of you like you don't.
I spend way too much money on internet.
I mean, if you use it a bunch, though, it's worth it.
I can download movies so fast.
Nice.
And, like, fucking digital games, like, from current gen stuff, like 60, 70, 100 plus gigabytes, like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Do you want to know how long it took to install that? 25 minutes.
That's not bad.
Pretty fast.
That's like a day and a half download.
Yeah, I wouldn't know
because I'm not gonna play that shit.
I maxed out Xbox's connection.
Gross.
They could not serve it faster than they were serving it. So I was like,
tight.
yeah. I just like watching that number because being a nerd, back in the day, like when torrents first started out,
you had 52 weeks until something was done downloading.
Yeah.
MP3 of fucking Old Dirty Bastards. I got your money.
Hey, dude.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna stop singing this so we don't get sued.
Yeah, but on some real though, it's come a long way, baby. We've come a long way.
One of the memories, like really specific memories I have of back then, is there is a movie called Pirates of Silicon Valley, which is a movie about the theft of Windows/Apple OS from Xerox.
Cool.
And it was produced and filmed for TV. But never released. I don't know why, but it never came out on TV. So, like,
you mean DVD?
Ever.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
It was just on TV once.
No.
They
filmed it and never viewed it. Or never showed it. So
Jeez, sitting in the old Prince vault, huh?
The only way to get it at the time, and maybe not so now, I haven't looked it up, but at the time, the only way to get it was to steal it.
Yeah. I imagine. Probably not the kind of thing they'd have in, like, Comic-Con basement shows.
Right.
Right next to the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movies.
I fucking downloaded that on a dial-up, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, a DVD rip. Fucking 800 megabyte fucking video file.
And how many weeks did that take?
I don't remember.
Who died of dysentery along the way?
Everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole team. The whole team.
Lost
the dog got sick.
You were the only one that got to watch it, and you were like, I'm watching this in your memory, guys.
Yeah. And I cried a little while I was watching it.
Not because it was good.
Just because... It was pretty good, though.
I don't know.
Pretty good.
I wouldn't know.
You should watch it if you're into that kind of shit. I don't know if you are. I don't think we've ever talked about that, like the history of computers being a thing you're interested in.
That's
but I
hit
am.
Or miss. It's very hit or miss. I like computers, like video games. Sure, I like the history of that stuff. That's always interesting to me. But actual computers and stuff, I don't think I'm enough of a computer nerd to give too much of a shit. I listened to I broke character recently and listened to a Joe Rogan podcast. Not that because I have anything against the guy or anything. I just never listened to it before. But somebody recommended it to me because Roger Carmax. or John Carmack. John Carmack was on it.
Yeah.
And somebody recommended it to me because they saw I was going through Doom, and they're like, oh, hey, John Carmack, he's fucking, I don't know why I want to keep calling him Roger, Jesus. John Carmack, he, helped created software and shit. Listen to it. And at first, yeah, it was a nice little conversation about Quake, but then it gets into, like, AI and jets and fucking virtual reality, and I thought the virtual reality stuff was cool because that's partially in, it has a foot in gaming. But once I started getting into AI talk, I was like, okay, I'm leaving. Bye, guys. I want to talk about shooting demons on Mars. You guys are talking about Elon Musk driving cars on Mars. I'm out of here.
I talk a lot about on the show, especially solo shows where I don't have guests. I talk a lot about Elon Musk and
That's cool.
and AI and Neuralink and stuff.
That's shit trips me out, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I want a robot body just as much as the next man, but I don't want Ultron, and I like that everybody knows that the second we create AI, we're accidentally gonna make Ultron.
Yeah, for sure.
That's and we're still going through it. And we're still just like, yeah, fuck it. Let's just keep going. I like Ultron was cool. Age of Ultron was an okay movie, but he's a great villain. But maybe we just need a robot AI. I like Terminator. You like Terminators? I like Terminators.
I like Terminators.
I think Terminator's pretty fly. Let's make Terminators. You want to make Terminators?
Fucking Elon Musk is shooting Skynet into the fucking orbit right now.
Ugh,
he literally is. It's called Starlink. It's called Starlink.
Star Labs.
Starlink fucking exists, and there's
on
no
purpose.
way that Elon Musk didn't think it's pretty close to Skynet.
Yeah.
So I just hope that he's a beneficent god.
Yeah, I guess.
And when he takes
You mean
over,
benevolent or what's beneficent?
beneficent is a more direct use of the word benevolent.
Okay.
So if you
I was
say
like, is that
benevolent,
Malevolent's ugly cousin, or
so it's fucking we're really gonna get granular on these words because you asked and I can answer.
and
So if you use
me.
the word benevolent, it actually is assumptive or inferring of a supernatural deity.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
If you use the word beneficent, it is inferring of a corporeal physical being.
Okay. And now I know the difference.
That would be the effective difference, although they're generally interchangeable. But if you were writing a book
right.
where you needed to make the distinction, that's how you
That's
would do
where it would be. Cool. And that's my new thing I learned today.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you all for coming to our TED Talk. Just to use that joke.
Oh man, Ivan Stable is here. He hasn't been here in a while. Good to see you, bro. Good
Mush
to see you.
mush.
I believe he's in Argentina.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's tight.
or Brazil.
Well, if you're just tuning in, I'm an artist. Although I've been talking about video games for the last 20 minutes to a half an hour. I do art as well. I draw things.
So let's go back to art.
Yeah.
Let's go back to you're building a brand.
I am very much trying to build a brand.
And
yes.
I'm over here trying to do the same thing in a different medium.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of challenges to that.
Tons.
Creating an aesthetic vision. And then
I feel like I really fell into it, actually.
Well, that's sort of built into you.
Kind of, yeah. It might come back to the whole being in a band thing, because a band is just one letter away from being a brand. So, which is also great advice for anybody who's in a band. A band is only one letter away from being a brand. So all you got to do is brand your band, and you're good.
Yeah.
You're
so
fine.
For me on my side,
of course, that is coming from a guy who failed at music. So.
You didn't fail at music.
I made great music.
You made
awesome
records,
music.
and it was amazing.
Listen to all of it because it's all for free on YouTube.
Really
right
should.
now.
Everyone should go listen to it.
God damn it! Unusual subjects. Don't call us suspects, or I'll punch you in the mouth. Still.
I was gonna say that too.
I still get mad at people. I'll see something that just says suspect on it, and I'll go subject. It's because that's something you can't beat out of me anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it's so it's ingrained in people's brains.
Yeah, it's easy for people to, and I've always thought it was funny that people are like, "Oh, Unusual Suspects," like that movie, and I was like, "You're even getting the title of the movie wrong. It's actually Usual Suspects, and you're a fucking idiot. Thank you." See, I couldn't say that at the time because I had to be nice to people, but now that I'm not in a band, I can be like, if you got the name wrong based on the name of a movie that you're also getting wrong, you're fucking stupid and I hate you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sign your CD, bitch. I'm going to sign it with the big word fuck off and learn how to read. Anyway, so starting a brand, I feel like I fell into it because I had a somewhat clear vision of what I wanted it to be. Once the name came into place, I was like, it sounds stereotypical, but once the name came, I was like, boom, 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 here it is. Here's the aesthetic I want to go for. Here's good. Here's 2 logos I just pooped out real quick that look really nice. Still they're cool looking logos. I need to update them, but it all kind of came together. And even then, as a brand, I'm still very unfocused in what I do, because while I do make merchandise and I am available for commission, my exact thing isn't as easy to nail down as some other brands. Like, and I'm really trying to think of a name right now. Okay, there's somebody I follow on Instagram called Get Lost Perv. Okay, they are very much in the same boat, but you can tell they have that aesthetic of their own where you see it and you know, okay, that's Get Lost Perv. It's like this great mix of like anime and black metal kind of looking shit. It's really cool. It's very hentai-ish. It's super neat. And when you see it, you know it's them, and they do shirts and like face masks and shit of that nature. I don't know why I did the motion, but so as far as what I do, though, it's a little less focused because I do just random art, and sometimes it gets made into a pin. Even less so, it gets made into a sticker. I want to start making shirts pretty soon here. I just don't know what designs I'm going to roll with yet. But so I know what I want to be doing with my brand, because I do want to be making stickers and pins and patches and shirts, but I'm just not there yet. Even as much as I have it established, it's not. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
How are you thinking about going into the shirt market? Ordering them and then handling them yourself logistically, or are you gonna go like the Stitchers / Amazon merch, whatever?
Right now, if you wanted to buy a shirt of mine, as I do have a couple of options, like I was explaining when I was explaining this Pee Wee shirt I'm wearing, you can find that at Store Frontier. If you look for Butterface Creations, it's on there. I also have a TeePublic page. It's just Butter503PDX, I think is that one. If you go to TeePublic, and there's a lot of designs on there too. Those are all like direct-to-garment printing is what it's called. So it's like, it's unlike screen printing. There's no like color limitations. It's a little less in quality at that point, but it's not bad, especially with Store Frontier is really nice. And TeePublic too is really good. Not just because if you go there and buy my stuff, I get a couple of bucks off each shirt. They are quality stuff. But I want to move into the more screen printing it on my own, not necessarily on my own like I'm sitting there with a screen printing thing, but more just like I have made the designs in a 1, 2, 3, 4 color scheme, you know, and I'll send it off to a screen printer to be like, okay, well, here's a 4 color shirt sent back to you, you know, and I can charge based on that. I think mostly it's going to be 1 colors because they're cheap. 1 colors are really easy to do at like $5, $6 a shirt, I think. But I also want them to be a little higher in quality too. So I don't know. I'm going to figure that out. But shirts, I don't know. With everything, if I can outsource it, I will.
I had a friend who started a screen printing business,
Nice.
and he really swears by American Apparel.
Nice.
I don't know.
There's a lot of good routes to go down. When we were in the band, we got very lucky with our shirts, and we found somebody who were just able to order us bulk shirts, and like at a wholesale price because they work for like Men's Warehouse or something.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of tagless Hanes for discounted price, and we just handed them off to a screen printer who actually did vinyl. If you'll remember my rant earlier about vinyl, that's. I'm glad we had the shirts in
Vinyl's
advance.
terrible.
I know this. I know this. Anyway,
As I wear, I'm definitely wearing a vinyl printed shirt.
you know,
but that's
it's
fine.
yeah. Screen printing is totally the way to go with shirts, though.
Yeah.
It's the one that'll last the most, and it looks the best, and it feels the best, and it's the standard. So that's going to be the route that I want to go down with shirts. But again, I have to actively make things with that in mind. As direct-to-garment printing is cool, I just don't think it holds the same.
Yeah.
You know. So.
I think that with what I'm working on my new thing, which we were talking about before, possibly doing skateboards and apparel, I'd really, really like to be able to make jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have some very fucking strong opinions about jeans.
I'm sure you do.
And
getting tired of skinny jeans, Jesus.
I don't care about that, but I think all jeans should be stretchy. And I think all jeans should be impact resistant. You should be able to, like, I want all of the clothes that I produce to be durable for skateboarding.
Well, yeah, because I mean, those motherfuckers fall down a lot.
Right. And
asphalt.
And I got this huge like road rash thing on my knee, but man, if
dash.
I wasn't wearing good jeans,
yeah,
it would have been a lot worse.
I bet.
Maybe even trip to the doctor worse.
Nice.
So I have very strong opinions about
Dashing
jeans.
scars.
I think they should fit in a very specific way, not too loose, not too tight. I think that the length in jeans, we've had too long, ladies and gentlemen, where jean companies have forced us to wear jeans the wrong length.
Yeah.
And that's annoying.
Because my legs fall at some weird in-between on length. To like it's either too short and everything's coming at Millhouse, as I like to say, because it's like high waters, or it's too baggy and I got to roll them up or just deal with bagging pants. Although I have to deal with bagging pants anyway because I have a medical condition called Hank Hill ass, where I just don't have an ass and my pants just fucking fall no matter how tight I tighten a belt.
Yeah.
Man, if anybody's ever like, hey, your ass is showing, I'm like, yes, medical condition. I tell you what.
I'll tell you what, boy.
Ugh, terrible.
But fucking yeah, so all of my jeans that I wear are made by a company called Urban Star, which is basically, I think, exclusively sold through Costco.
Nice.
So if you want to know what jeans I recommend you go out and buy, since I brought it up, Urban Star.
This podcast does not include paid advertising, but we're gonna plug a bunch of products that aren't even ours.
Yeah, like, they're good.
I really like these jeans.
They're good. They come in various
I can't think
colors.
of anything random that I would recommend to somebody. If you like fake chicken patties, go for the brand called Quorn, Quorn. That's my official rando sponsorship of this one. Fuck Morningstar, overrated. Go for Quorn.
Fuck Morningstar.
Morningstar's pretty good on a lot of things, but not their
don't
chicken
like it.
bits. Not their chicken bits, man. Their chicken bits remind me of gray chicken nuggets.
Ugh.
I don't know. Anyway, so back to the branding and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know where else we were going to go from that.
Oh, I was gonna ask you, what is the challenging thing? What is the thing that you have trouble overcoming that doesn't feel natural to you?
Time management.
Time management.
Yeah, and my forever desire to be lazy and do nothing. It's because, like, if I have time where I'm not at work, because I work 40 hours a week, 10 hours a day, 4 days a week, so that's not bad. That's a good schedule. That's great. But then I also go to the gym for 2 hours after that, and then that gives me about 2 hours when I get home to shower and have food and then pass out, where I got to wake up the next day and do it all the same. So, like, squeezing art in there is possible, and I do it. But then there's also, like, I want to play video games. I love video games. Gaming is my main form of entertainment. Here's the thing. Can't do that if I'm drawing. My hands are occupied. And I don't like stuff to watch so much. So, like, I don't know. It's weird. So, like, time management's a big thing because I always just want to be just chilling and playing video games and relaxing. But no, I have to work. And not that I see art as work, because that is also something I like doing. But time management and motivation's a bitch. Man, I tell you what.
No, that's so true.
Getting better these days, though. With the alphabetical August thing that I just got done doing, it did keep me on a drawing a day. For as much as I griped about it, it still kept me on a drawing a day, and it gave me the idea of, okay, when I wake up in the morning and I'm having my coffee and weed and breakfast, what else am I doing with my hands? Nothing. I can draw. It's easy. I can drink coffee with my left hand, draw with my right. Doesn't have to be great. Just do something. Practice.
What do you use to draw? Like, what's your tool of choice?
So I use a tablet. I have a Samsung tablet. It's not great. It's old. I also use my phone a lot because it's the same program, and my phone has a stylus that my hand has become very accustomed to. The bigger difference between my phone and my tablet is the stylus. My phone has a stylus, works great, came with the phone, does good. My tablet didn't come with the stylus, so every one that I found, it doesn't work so well. A lot of stuff I do on my tablet, I do with my fingers, just kind of doing it like this, and you'd be surprised how different that is, because like with a pen, you're holding it and you can kind of see where you're going. With your hand, you have to worry about your whole fucking hand getting in the stupid, and this meat thing I hate so much, and it gets in the way, and I'm just like, stop being so fat, hands. It's also different because you're so used to holding things like this. So like doing line work, I've gotten it good. Like I've drawn stuff on the bus a lot when I used to work at a dispensary in North Portland. I would just be sitting there on the bus drawing on a tablet. Like my hand was gyroscopic. It was insane. I get some really nice clean line work with these fingers. But once I got the stylus for the phone, there's no turning back from that one, because the phone is a smaller screen. I can do so much more in such little time. Like I was saying earlier, where I want my time to sit around and be lazy, the phone kind of affords me that, because it's just in my hand, it's in my pocket at all times, and I can just get it done, get it banged out really quick, and like, hey, look, I made something cool.
And what phone are you using?
It's a piece of shit. It's an LG Stylo 3.
Well, there you go, people. You don't need a fucking whatever iPhone jerk me off.
No.
Fucking
No.
Samsung
Now,
Galaxy Note 10. You don't need that. You can be creative.
Hold on.
Stuff.
I would recommend the nicer stuff. I'm trying to save up to get like a tabletop tablet kind of thing. Like I was telling you earlier, we had a nice long talk before the cameras were rolling about Todd McFarlane. He uses like a 32-inch display TV to draw on. That's what I aspire to.
Yeah.
I like the phone and stuff because I can carry it with me. I used to be a lot more mobile. Like I was saying, worked in North Portland. That's a lot of bus time, so I can just draw on the bus. Now that I don't have that, and I do a lot of my drawing out of the home, I feel like it would make more sense for me to have a bigger display that is still a tablet and shit, yes, but not as portable, not one I can just bring with me everywhere. Because I'm pretty home-centric these days, too, especially now that I'm not in a band. I'm fucking at home, drawing, playing video games and shit. You know, it's my natural environment, chilling with my cat and my toys and my girlfriend and all that fun shit.
One of the things that I like to bring up for people is a lot of people creatively, before they go into it or they jump into it, they create roadblocks. I can't do it unless I have X thing.
Yeah.
Right? Especially with video and audio production.
I used to very much be like that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm still actually
I
kind
try
of
to
like that.
remind people, like, I do this show on a laptop on a less than $100 mixing board with a camera that I got on eBay for like less than $100. You know, it's not the best show, but it's about the content that you create and getting good.
I guess too, for as much as I rant about how I do want that big setup, that it shouldn't undermine your point of view. Yes, you don't need something big and crazy to do it, because all this cool art that I'm making, if you go on my page, even the Guario pins and stuff, I did all the Guario designs on my phone. They were all phone-based things. A lot of commissions I've done have been on my phone. If it's something more important, I'll do it on the tablet, just because it's got better.
I think you did my logo on a phone or like a tablet.
I did, because that was before I had the tablet. I was just getting used to the phone, so I did it with these greasy hands on a phone, because that was also before I had a stylus on it too. That was big learning process too. Like if you try to blow up that logo to like a huge size, it's not going to work so well. I know that.
No, but I had it transferred into vector graphic. So,
see, that's cool.
Yeah.
So if you had somebody do that for you, that's cool. I know better now. So like now, like I remember when my band opened up for Guttermouth, I did a flyer for that on my phone on the way to get it printed, by the way. Like I was just like, yeah, I'll throw together a flyer really quick. And I did it on the bus on the way to Office Depot. And when I got there, the guy was like, how much of this do you want printed? And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? All of it? Why? And he turned the screen around, and the 11x17 took up a small corner of the screen, and he was like, you can print it at that resolution and it'll still be fine. Like, and he was like, you can pretty much print it to be a flag or banner. And I was like, well, I'm not trying to do that, but that's good to know. So I've learned the difference between small and big things, which is really cool.
That is one of the things that I had to learn about volume.
Think about that. I don't think most people think about that when they're making images and shit, that like resolution's a big deal. Like, have a big palette, so if you want to blow it up super huge, you can without losing resolution. And there's been times where I did that and it still ended up fucked up too. Like there was a commission I did for Grotesque Gorlesque out of Seattle. It's a burlesque troupe. They do Gorlesque. It's bloody and they do it to metal, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. And you're in Seattle, catch one of their shows if they're still doing them. But I did a poster for them that just didn't transfer well because for some odd reason my big print didn't work. It was so weird. It threw me off guard. I was like, I did everything right. I don't know why it didn't transfer well. I don't know, and I still to this day have not figured it out. And I gave them that design at half off because I was like, well, you can't use it for the intended use. I still drew it. Take it. It's yours. Just have it. I'm sorry that it didn't work.
One of the things that I had to learn in video production was how volume works. Volume is fucking weird.
Yeah, it is.
It is really weird.
Yeah.
There's the volume at which the microphones pick up our voices. That goes into the mixer. Now the mixer has its volume, right? And that goes into the computer, which then feeds into software. There's multiple layers where you have to have all those levels right, or it's fucked.
Yeah.
Super fucked.
Or it'll get slightly degraded between each new thing, like a fucking stupid game of telephone. I've done that before.
And if you've ever watched YouTube videos where it's like one video is super quiet, you have to turn it up to like 70 on your volume, and then obviously you're scared shitless when a properly volumed video comes off. And I still struggle with it from show to show.
Audio mastering is weird.
Fuck, dude, what happened with the audio? Why am I so quieter? Why am I so blown out? It's fucking annoying, dude.
It's hard to mix.
Volume and resolution are very parallel with each other in like how to master it.
Totally.
Yeah.
I could see that.
So, do you think that like so we're pretty close to the same age. I think I'm a little bit older than you, but
by 4 minutes, so maybe in 4 minutes I'll understand.
Yeah. But learning how to leverage what you want to do and what you're good at into trying to build it into an actual business, do you find it to be a weird kind of thing? Does it make you like nervous? Does it make you excited? Does it make you feel dirty to commercialize something that you used to do for free?
No, hell no. Fuck no. Because like I was trying to say with the band stuff, if you're good at something and it's your passion, you should be being paid properly for it. So like, I got no problem. I always go on record as saying, I have zero fucking shame. If you give me money, I will draw you anything. You want me to draw Lion-O and Moon-Ra blowing each other? Cool.
Wow.
$80.
I don't...
Not really $80. That'll actually probably be more close to like 120 or so because it's two full bodies, full color, full shading. So
can I have it not be blowing each other but butt fucking?
Sure. Oh, fuck.
Is that the same price?
Yeah, totally. Okay. It's still two full bodies.
All right, we'll talk about that after the show.
So anyway, so I don't feel bad for monetizing myself like that because it's what I want my primary source of income to be. I mean, like I was saying, I work a 9 to 5 job. I've always worked a 9 to 5 job, but the main goal with starting a brand is to be able to make enough to support my family, support myself, and do what I enjoy without having to like stop for 10 hours every day to go and like trim weed for some jackass. My boss is not a jackass, by the way. Nobody at my work is a jackass. I don't want to say that, but that's just how I feel about jobs, though. Like I've said it. My job now is nice and I like it and I enjoy it, but I always say I'll hate any job because it's taking me away from what I really want to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's drawing.
Yeah.
And I feel that way about coloring sometimes too. I'm just like, I fucking hate this. I want to be doing line work. I gotta be sitting here coloring in this dick. Now it's fucking green. Fuck you. Anyway, so like, yeah. I feel like I just rambled off. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
So yeah. Oh, okay. So feeling bad about it. So I don't feel bad about it. That like, I feel bad more about the fan arty stuff. Like when the odorous pin was selling good and shit, and I was like, man, I kind of feel like I'm pandering. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck that. Get your money, dude. You came up with that idea. You fucking made it a thing. It's not, you know, if the one of the things I told myself, and it felt so mean to say, but it also felt right, is if these companies were making stuff that fans actually wanted, there wouldn't be a need for a bootleg market, kind of thing.
That's so true.
So like,
And
not a lot of people would think, okay, mash up a band with a video game character and boom, you got a gold mine. But that's apparently what people want, you know. So, and I mean, you can tell that with pins too. Like, so compared to Gross Encounters, I went to this thing last month called Pins and Patches Expo, and that was all just pins and patches. But the theme there seemed to be just pop culture stuff, because when you're making pins, like, you can get away with that kind of shit, and it just happens. Like a lot of these that I'm wearing, I got from there. You got like Frankencastle, you got some Metal Gear stuff, you got some fucking anime stuff, you got more anime. There was a lot of anime stuff, by the way. Ninja Turtles and Mega Man, like. It was all super fucking copyrighted material, and I feel like the pin people, they get into that because, again, there's the market for that. Simpsons mashup pins. Huge fucking market. Insane market. People listen. Bootleg Simpsons merchandise has been big since we were kids.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
lived through Simpsons Mania.
Yeah.
I lived through Simpsons Mania. I've made bootleg Simpsons art before. It's cool. But yeah,
I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons because my mom was at that period a
That's
fundamentalist Christian, and Fox and MTV were blocked.
That's fucked because The Simpsons had the most heart in those days too. I wouldn't let anybody watch The Simpsons now because it's stupid.
I went back and watched it later
As an adult. Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. But yeah, it was weird. I didn't get it. And it was kind of one of those, like, if you couldn't afford a Neo Geo, now that you're a grown-up, you can go buy a fucking Neo Geo, even though it's fucking stupid. And you should.
Hey, whoa. Neo Geo's not that bad. Let's throw
No,
down
Neo
on some
Geo
Samurai
Geos
Showdown.
are
Come
fucking
on.
awesome.
Yeah.
But collecting for it is so expensive.
I bet.
It's so
that
expensive.
sucks.
Yeah.
I sympathize with that.
So definitely, if you want to play Neo Geo, emulators are the way to go.
Nice.
Not that. Do not steal software.
No.
Anyway.
So yeah, the only time I really feel bad about monetizing anything is when it's not something that's just fully my own creation. Like I do the pins, and like I said, it feels okay. But like I felt really stoked on myself for the odorous pin doing so well, but then I also felt bad about it because, like, well, while it is my own design, it's not a character of my own design. Mario's not a character of my own design, you know? So I keep making that joke these days. Like, I went to that convention yesterday, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to do a lot of fan arty stuff anymore. Like, I may just because I'm me and I like to draw Batman. You know, I like to draw the Ninja Turtles. It's just a thing I've been drawing since I was 8, so it makes sense. But I also really like drawing weird alien things with multiple eyes, and I forgot about that. I was just like, oh yeah, I remember when I used to do slaps all the time, and that's how I came up with my alien designs and shit. And I keep forgetting there is a market for that.
Yeah.
I just got to get my foot into those circles. I mean, I have so much of a foot in the nerd circle that it just feels natural to be like, okay, I'm going to draw anime characters. Let's go. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm doing it. But I got to remember, I'm like, hey, people like your original stuff too. Like when I asked about making so the boys pin I was talking about, I actually asked people what pin I should make next. It was the boys. There was a Simpsons one I did of Bart mashed up with Naruto's kid. I called it Baruto because that's his name. There was one based on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. There was the boys, and there was the arcade cabinet. And the boys is hot and popular, so a lot of people were saying that. But the one that came in after that was the arcade cabinet. And that's like a 100% original design that was on me. So I'm like, okay, that gave me faith that if I do my own designs, it may go just as well. So I'm going to try and do that.
Yeah.
That feels more respectable. That feels more like what I should be doing. It's a lot less dirty.
Yeah.
You know.
For me, like, this is what I love to do. This is the thing.
Cocaine and hookers?
What we're doing right now.
Oh, okay.
I like to isolate people from the outside world and have long form conversations with them.
Yeah, because that's fun.
I like to take away the phones and I really love the Joe Rogan podcast, although I'm not necessarily a Joe Rogan fanboy.
Right.
I just like the way that he talks to people.
Yeah.
He finds a shared interest and then explores their individual interests. He's really good at having conversations, and I love it. This is my favorite thing to do. That's why I started the show.
Nice.
And doing this, because I was like, fuck, I have so many interesting friends, so many fun people to talk to, that I can't find an excuse because we live in a busy world.
Yeah.
Like, you're working 40 hours a week, you're working on your art, you've got a family, so this is a good way for us to get in a room and have some fucking friend time.
Yeah.
While we're still actually promoting ourselves and our work and doing something constructive.
Getting two birds stoned at once.
Right. And that's what this is. I really hope that someday I can do this and only this.
Yeah.
For money.
You know, start getting those sponsorships now. You got the Dollar Shave Club. We'll sponsor anything. You can start pitching supplements, you know. I'll start taking supplements, and you can be like, we actually had our guinea pig. Yeah, we had a guinea pig over here, Butter, test out this new testosterone thing. How you doing? It's just me beefed out, being like, I'm doing great. Take the shit.
Fucking awesome.
Haven't seen my balls in a week, but I'm feeling great. It's because they shrank. I don't know. I hear testosterone stuff does the steroids, makes your balls shrink. I don't know. I don't know. I do all natural workouts. I just
have really small balls.
Nah.
So
I'm sorry to hear that.
I could probably just take all the steroids I want.
I actually got the reverse of how it's supposed to be. I got really big balls and a somewhat small dick. And I always say somewhat small because, you know, small's a relative term. You know, one person's pinky's another man's forearm.
Did you know, I read something somewhere about dick size, and I think this is interesting. Men see their penis as smaller percentage-wise.
Oh, that makes sense.
Like your perception of your own penis is askew.
I feel like there's been a lot of studies that have been like, yeah, you know, your perception of things actually changes a lot about how you view yourself, and it's not really like that. Like, the way you see you in that mirror is different from how I see you in that mirror, kind of shit.
Right.
And now we're getting way too deep and philosophical. It's crazy.
Dude.
Like, everybody perceives things different, man. And, like, the way I see my dick isn't the way that your mom sees my dick, you know?
Because your mom sees my dick up close.
Yeah. I don't know why that came out as Michelangelo, by the way. It's like, and then I go and get a pizza with her. Oh. She likes pepperoni, anchovies, and marshmallow, bro. Michelangelo's fucking stupid.
I read something about that one time where this is certainly not my original idea. I didn't come up with it, but I like it a lot. There are infinite variations of you because every person that you meet sees a different person. Therefore, you don't. Yeah.
Sorry.
Therefore, you don't exist. You don't exist at all because your self-perception isn't accurate either.
Damn.
So to actually have an aggregate of all of those perceptions that you've created through your life in happenstance, you would have to aggregate those and then find a median, and then that would be who you really are.
Huh.
And it's fascinating.
Weird.
It's fascinating.
That's why I try to keep myself as like cartoon character-y as possible, or as similar from day to day as possible. If you notice, I'm wearing my vest, as I always do. I always have a vest on. It's like, you ever played BioShock Infinite?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
how they always say there's always a lighthouse, there's always a fucking dude or whatever. So that's how I always feel when you see me in the streets. I'm always going to be wearing a vest. I'll probably be wearing boots. I'll always be bald. Now I'll always have glasses. And I'll always be saying some sort of the same catchphrases too. I have a ton of catchphrases that I use. And if you know me well enough, like golly gee in the hood, I say that all the fucking time. Or if there's ever just some downtime and some silence, I'll just go, fun! Just to say it, just like, well, this is fun.
This is
some
fun.
Shit. I'll say, like, if anybody compliments me, instead of saying thank you, I say I got my moments. There's little things like that. I say all the time. I'm a cartoon character. I wear similar versions of the same clothes every day, and I got catchphrases.
Yeah.
So my perception of me is that, and I would assume most people's perception wouldn't be too far off because I try to keep it the same on the day-to-day, as it were.
I think most people's perception of me is very different based on whether or not you live with me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like a very quiet, very kind of isolated, brooding person, and I'm always in my head. But with like outside world, like, so my family, they know that, they see that, because how can you isolate yourself in public, right? So when I leave the house,
I can think of ways.
There's like this other personality that comes out, and he's also me, like very genuinely me, but he's the me that has been created so that I can socialize, so that I can have positive interactions.
Oh,
with
dude,
people.
I get that.
Yeah.
Like I was describing the evil butter thing earlier, that was part of that too, was that I would just have a different personality when you came and talked to me. Like, I always joke that Evil Butter on stage was actually Evil Butter. He was kind of an asshole. I'd talk shit to the crowd and be a jerk. But then if you saw me at the merch booth, Evil Butter was actually a pretty nice guy. He'd talk to you. He'd smile. He'd thank you for coming. He'd sign your merch. He'd probably cut you a deal on merch. I was always saying, I'll give people free shit if you just tell me I have pretty eyes. Or a pretty eye at the time.
Yeah.
But it was a different persona that I was putting forth.
Yeah.
To call it back to the Kojima thing in Metal Gear 5, there was a very big thing about multiple personalities, and it was juxtaposed against David Bowie's The Man Who Sold the World, which is a song
It is
about
one of the
multiple
best songs
personalities.
David
Yes.
Bowie ever wrote.
Another thing that I didn't realize until fairly recently, or was pointed out to me, is they only use a cover song version of that in the game to further drill home that it's somebody different. It's something's wrong here. That's not the David Bowie version. It's the Midge or whatever the fuck his name is. Great version, by the way.
Yeah.
But so like I was like, I like that. I'm gonna steal that for music. But so yeah, I created a separate persona for both on stage, off stage, and then with eye patch on and with eye patch off. If you just caught me at the bar being normal Butter, I was completely different from Evil Butter. If I didn't have the eye patch on, you were cool to just talk to me and I'll be fine.
Yeah,
You know, it's interesting. So people's perception's neat.
I think I play with that the most in stand up.
Yeah.
Because like doing the show, you can't. I do 3-hour episodes. We're going on our second hour now. We're at 1 hour and 51 minutes, right? No one can, unless you're a professional actor, although they only carry those personas between takes.
Yeah.
For the most part, no one can
Most of them.
fake a personality for 3 hours over the course of 150 episodes or 300. Or Joe Rogan's at what, like 2,000 or something.
You never saw me at work. Not so much the porn store, but definitely when I was working at the pot shops, I was a much different persona. Liquor store too, as a matter of fact. Especially when I was not drinking and working at the liquor store, I was just fucking with people all day too. But it was a different persona also. And same thing with like when I was selling weed. Bud Tender Nigel was much nicer. That was Nigel to a T. Nobody there knew me as Butter per se, so it was just Nigel, and I was very customer service centrist and shit. Like it was totally different, and I put on that act every day. There was only some days where it wouldn't come through, especially towards the end, because I fucking hated that place. But another persona I played every single day to no end at that company was an automated message service for the phones.
Okay.
So like, because people call all the time, and with dispensaries, your main questions are, what's your cheapest ounce? What's your cheapest gram? What's your cheapest eighth? Can you tell me every single, like, basically what Leafly exists for? People will still try and call your store and ask.
Yeah.
So in order to try and weed out the idiots, I'd always be like, I'd answer the phone, give it a second, and then go, thank you for calling the dispensary that I work at. How can I help you? Every single time. And then I'd give it a second, because some people would be like, is this a person? And then I'd be like, I don't feel like a person most days, but yeah, I'm a real person. What can I help you with? Like, I would try and pull it for a twist, or some days I would just keep going. Like, they would just be like, is this a real person? I'm sorry, I did not understand that. Could you please, using your touch-tone phone, enter the first 3 letters of the extension you wish to reach now? During the last week, I was getting crazy with it. I was like, thank you for calling the dispensary I work for. Our hours are Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you know the name of the person you would like to reach, say their name now. Like, it was all about knowing where the tape switched to. Like, I was getting crazy with it. And then people would make me laugh and just ruin it. I hated it. But it was a common thing where it's like the phone rang. I was like, don't worry, guys, I got this. I'm taking it. I'm doing this. Like, and I did that every day until I stopped. And even then, the dispensary I went to after that just carried it on. So anytime somebody's allowing me to answer the phones, you're going to get robot voice, Nigel.
Robot voice.
I used to do it with Mr. Movie Phone if I get a wrong answer. Thank you for dialing Movie Phone. If you know the name of the motion picture you would like to see using your touch-tone phone, please enter the first 3 letters of that movie now.
I like to take really mundane circumstances in life and do the movie trailer voice with them.
Oh, God.
In a world.
This summer, I put on my pants 1 leg at a time.
2 guys, 2 microphones,
1
pipe.
podcast. Anytime you start something off with 2 somethings and 1 something, everybody's like, oh, shit. Because 2 girls, 1 cup, if you're not old enough to catch that reference, it's a poop video.
Yeah, and vomit.
Oh yeah, there's vomit, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you know lemonparty.com is banned on Facebook? You can't even type it in Messenger.
That makes me sad.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is,
so
though.
You have to Lemon Party,
is it a pissing website?
No, it was not. I believe...
fucking color me surprised!
I think, if I remember correctly, it was a bunch of old dudes fucking, like an orgy of old dudes.
Why would anybody want to say? Well, okay, people got their fetishes. I'm not going to kink shame. Go on.
Hey, yeah, I'm not going to shame you.
Fuck, dude.
If you want to watch old dudes fuck...
I have evolved so much from my porn store days when I was just like, this is all weird. Now I'm just like, whatever do you think?
Yeah, I don't care. Whatever gets you off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you hurting anybody? Or do they want to be hurt? Okay, you're good.
You're good. It's very Church of
Keep
Satan perspective that I have on porn and fetishes. It's like, are you hurting someone who didn't ask for it? That's probably bad. Don't do it.
Man,
but
when I first started working at the porn store, I felt like such a prude, such a Hank Hill. Because all that stuff, I was just like, this is all weird. This was all still new and foreign to me. And I'm just like, ugh. And then, like, by the time I get out of there, I don't fucking care. It's especially now too that I've grown more as a person and stopped being an angry alcoholic. I'm just like, I don't care.
How long has it been since we worked at the porn shop?
For me at least
3 or 4 years.
Probably 3 or 4 years, yeah. Because I remember I worked at the liquor store for 2 years, and then I worked at the dispensaries for like a year and some change. So yeah, it has to have been going on 4 years now.
Actually, one of the first times we ever met working at the porn store, didn't we get into an argument?
Did we?
I think I came in, or I had done graveyard. And I think you came in for first shift or something, or maybe it was swapped. And for whatever reason, I was really fucking irritated. I had like a really shitty night.
Well, because that happens there.
Yeah. And like, I think you were taking your time, and I was like, I snapped at you, and you were like, "Go fuck yourself! You can't talk to me like that." And then we had like a disagreement.
I don't think that was me.
Was it not you?
No,
it might not have been you.
No, because I don't remember ever telling another one of my coworkers to go fuck themselves, no matter how much they called for it.
Well, not like in those words, but I think it was more one of those like whoever it was, I was out of line. I
think me and you have always been okay. Honestly,
whoever it was, I immediately apologized after the fact.
Yeah.
Like the next time I saw that person, I was like, dude, I don't know why I was such a dick to you. I'm sorry. I never had a problem with a lot of my coworkers there. Yeah.
At least sometimes. There was definitely a golden period, but then just like all jobs, towards the end I was like, man, fuck this place. Well, don't fuck this place because you'll get AIDS, but fuck this place.
You will get all of this.
Oh my
AIDS,
god,
bro.
super
Space
hyper
AIDS.
mega AIDS HD Turbo Deluxe Alpha Remix Edition.
Oh man, I although I look back on that job, especially graveyard, where I started my writing career.
Yeah.
Because I had so much time.
Dude, if there's ever something you can get out of those jobs, it's whatever your passion at the time was. Like my art would not have jumped so much in quality if I didn't have 8 to 16 hours a shift to just draw in between going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. Do you want to buy a condom? Are you sure?
You should probably buy a condom.
You're not even going back there to fuck anyway, man. Just check your needles in at the counter. All
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they still didn't even do that. Fuck. All of those
Dude, I
places.
still go to Lib World on Division to pick up my exotics.
Oh, that's cool.
It's because that's where the
still
journey
exists.
started for me.
Yeah.
And that's where I first became friends with Ray McMillan, which ended up with me being printed in the magazine. So that's where I go to get them when I want to get a physical copy.
That was the last one I worked at. Not my favorite.
Yeah, mine too.
Although, I'm one of the only people in the history of existence who does not have a bad thing to say about Blue Spot. Because the whole time I was working at Blue Spot, I didn't mind. It was fine.
I never had a problem with Blue Spot.
Every time everybody's like, man, Blue Spot and Toy Box are the punishment stores. And I was like, I don't mind Blue Spot. Blue Spot was fine.
Dude, Toy Box was the shit on Graveyard. You might get 2 people through the door.
I hate Toy Box.
So you could just sit at Toy Box and do whatever the fuck you wanted.
Dude, I took a nap at Toy Box once. It was terrifying. Ever told you about that?
No.
So I was working. I'd had this weird schedule because I was trying to work around having the band. So I was working 2 mornings, 2 swings, day off, graveyard, day off, wash, rinse, repeat. So after doing that for like 3 weeks, I was thrashed on that fucking grave shift. It's a nightmare. It's an impossible way to get your sleep schedule. Plus, I was doing band practice before work that night too. Life was a fucking nightmare. It's the downside to a democracy is you end up doing a lot of things that you don't want to do because you got outvoted. Yeah. So I remember it was like 1 a.m. and it's Toy Box, so nobody's coming in. And I remember I was watching a video. I think I was watching Akira on the TV there because I had the DVD and I was like, well, I'm not going to fucking watch stupid porno. I'm going to watch Akira. And I put Akira on one of the preview TVs and I put my head down and I blinked and then I woke up an hour later and it was fucked. Like, I blinked and opened my eyes, and an hour had passed. Tetsuo was turning into his major monster form, and I was like, oh my god.
Like, oh shit.
What happened? And, like, I was laying in front of the cash register, so somebody would have had to have moved me to steal something, which is a plus. And then I did the traditional check my face, nobody came on me, check my butt, it doesn't hurt. Okay, I didn't get raped. That's cool. I feel like I would have woke up for that. But I just wanted to be sure. And then I locked the front door and I ran into the camera room and just made sure nobody came in and stole anything during the hour that I was on. You know, Eric was a fucking idiot and showed me how to operate all that shit, so I looked really quick. I don't think that makes him an idiot, by the way. I mean, Eric was an idiot, but anyway. So I checked the cameras and nobody had even came in, so I was like, fuck, dude. That was great, but that was terrifying. And it was like the next day after that, I was like, so I can't work the schedule anymore. I need to just have 3 days off.
Yeah.
That was bad.
I
don't look fondly back on that job, besides all the time I had to dump into art, because I don't even feel like I got many cool stories out of it. You know, like my girl, God bless her, she worked at fucking the one on 52nd and Foster. She got all the cool stories because she worked at
Fantasy.
Fantasyland.
That's the one that's right next to the private dance parlor.
Yeah, next to well, I don't want to say their actual name on air. I call them kitty bitties.
Yeah.
Next to kitty bitties.
And by the way, all the chicks who work there were super rad and very cool.
Oh, that's what she always told me too. They were always really nice chicks, and the few times I met them, they were nice. But she got all the cool stories because that's an interesting part of town. For as much as I worked at Blue Spot, which is off 82nd, nothing interesting to me happened there. The only interesting thing that happened there was my own thing that I did, where I decided I was going to watch all their hentai in one night because I was back one night only kind of shit, and it was a graveyard night and nobody was coming in, so I was like, well, they only got one shelf of hentai. What the fuck am I doing? Let's go. And I was like, dude, they have Legend of the Overfiend 1 and 2. Hell yes. So I watched the first one, and it was, if you've ever seen it, it's all right. It's classic tentacle rape porn, whatever. And then started watching the second one, and I'm sitting there eating Chinese food, and I'm like, I feel bad watching tentacle rape and eating noodles at the same time, but this is fun. But then after another one, I don't remember what the next one was, but it was another like demon rapey thing, and I started to feel bad as a person in a rare moment of having a conscience. That happens a lot more now, but a lot less back then. So I went and I tried to find the most innocent looking one I could find, just normal people on the cover, you know, normal anime looking people. Seemed like a pretty simple title. Said there was a nice adventure of lust and blah blah on the back. I was like, okay, this will be some normal hentai. By the way, if you know hentai, normal and hentai are not two words that ever go in the same sentence. So the first scene, brother raping a sister. And I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm out. I'm going to watch stuff on my phone now. This is... Dude. I couldn't even make it all the way through a fourth video. I was like, I'm good. I'm cool.
Do you remember
it.
how LibWorld had Wi-Fi?
Mm-hmm.
That's because I installed it.
Yeah.
I bought a router and asked Jasmine, rest in peace, who was our boss there. I was like, look, can I install Wi-Fi?
That was a godsend, by the way.
And she was like, yeah, I don't care. And I was like, fuck yeah. And I think when I left, I left the Wi-Fi there. Yeah.
My phone, I think, sometimes still tries to connect to it when I pass it.
Nice.
It never forgets Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah, I had my my laptop, and I would watch YouTube and Netflix while I wrote, and I needed internet on my computer because I was going to school for political science at the time. So I was also working on homework and shit.
Yeah.
And she was the coolest boss. As long as you did your job, she didn't care.
Yep.
Yeah, she didn't care what you did.
Yeah. Until the end, where she just didn't care. Poor girl.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not going to get all sad today.
No, not that kind of day.
So yeah, just that was life at the porn store. Sometimes I miss it, most times I don't. That's not my reflect back and sometimes miss it job. That's the liquor store. And even then I got a lighter. I went back and worked at a liquor store between the dispensary I was at and the job I'm working now, and I still enjoyed it even as a non-alcoholic. I was still very good at that job, but it was just too comfortable, and I was just like, I can't also work around a bunch of alcoholics too. It was really weird. Yeah. But I did like messing with alcoholics because they're very like, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Drunk?
Sometimes. If they are, I'm not supposed to sell to them, but they're a little more fun when they are. They're God, I'm not formulaic, but they're very on schedule kind of shit.
Yeah, they have a routine.
very routine. That's the word I'm looking for. You know, people come by at the same time of day to buy the same size of the same liquor that they bought yesterday every single day. And it makes it very easy to fuck with them. It's insane because they always say the same shit and it's easy to just come up with snappy responses, you know. It's great. One of the best things that I ever did at the liquor store, this is a story I love to tell, is I gave a dirty old man piss water once. Actual piss water. So there was this guy that came in. I'll use his real name because I don't know his last name. It was Bob. Fucking hate Bob. Bob was the worst. I had a coworker there. She was a lesbian, older punk rock lesbian chick. Really cool sometimes. Not all the time because alcohol does that to people. But on the whole, pretty cool, pretty nice lady. Pretty outward about being a lesbian too, so nobody would hit on her. But Bob didn't give a shit because Bob was in his 60s and gonna die any day now. And so he would just come in and he'd get his $3.50 pint of Fleshman's and ask for a discount because I'm in here all the time. I think he's funny. And when the Me Too campaign was first starting going on, they were talking about it at the liquor store, and he came in and he was like, well, heck, I date raped a chick once back in the day. It's just what you did sometimes.
What the fuck? He said that?
That's exactly the response everybody had. I was just like, Bob, you're never supposed to do that.
Whoa.
What's wrong with you?
Holy
why would you
shit.
admit that to a room full of people? And he was like, well, different times, different ideas. And I was like, doesn't make it all right,
those
Bob.
are not different times and different ideas. Rape has always been bad.
Yep. So that was one of the first times I was like, oh man, I'm never treating Bob with respect again. Not that I ever did to begin with, mind you, but I was like, super fuck this guy. So if you don't know, we're going to flash forward a little bit here to the holiday season. First holiday season I ever worked at a liquor store, as a matter of fact. If you don't know, holiday seasons are always a bitch for retail, but they're a double bitch when you work in a liquor store because not only do you have a bunch of people coming by trying to get liquor for recipes, and it's also for gifts. And that's also the time you're getting people coming in saying, everybody's favorite thing to hear in a retail store, well, I don't know so much about blank, so what should I do? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, well, that's a wide question. Like if you ask me, hey, I don't know much about whiskey. I know my grandpa drinks whiskey, and I want to get him a really nice bottle of whiskey. What should it be? And my first question on that is, well, what region of whiskey, right? Like, because I mean, there's bourbon, Irish, Scotch, Canadian, and American, and Japanese now. So which one? And they're always like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, okay, how old are they? Like, it always leads into more, and it just takes up more time, and you got lines for fucking days because everybody's coming in to get it for recipes, et cetera, et cetera. So holiday season, I'm working there. I got a line of people coming from my counter all the way back to where our rum is, which, by the way, back of the store. So it's a pretty big line. Here comes Bob, shuffling through on his walker. He slams down a cup that's about the size of those little cups Brody used in Mallrats. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
He had the little thimble cup where he was like, fill this with Coke, no ice. And he was like, can you get me some water? And I said, Bob, are you fucking stupid? No. Because I have a line of people to the door. And he starts raising a shit fit. A big shit fit. And I'm like, Bob, you're not going to do this. And he's like, I'm a fucking customer. I've been here every day buying my $3.50 fucking pint of Fleshman's. So I'm like, okay, Bob. I'm going to do you a favor. Folks, if you will all wait. Bob, I'm going to go get you the best water in the store. I grab his cup. I hold it triumphantly. And I'm walking to the back. This little bitch boy that we were working with at the time is like, Nigel, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm getting Bob some water. And I walk in, and I kick up the toilet seat, and I get him a little bit of piss water, and I march it back out there, a little bit of piss on my hands. I don't care because it's worth it. And I'm like, slam. There you go, Bob. Best water in the house. It's the butter specialty. And I didn't get to watch him drink it, which is the sad ending of the story. I assume he did. But then the funnier part is...
when you started this story, I thought, man, maybe you shouldn't tell a story where you give somebody piss water.
Yeah.
That might ruin this upload to YouTube.
No.
But I really like how you made that right.
Yeah, it's justified. Yeah. It's totally justified. Funnier still, this was the last occasion I saw Bob for a good 3 or 4 months. One day we just kind of all realized, hey, has anybody seen Bob lately? And I was like, is anybody complaining? No. And they were like, well, it just seems weird that we haven't seen him. And I was like, well, fuck, maybe he died. Maybe we got lucky, you know? Because, again, I didn't like the guy.
Right.
Maybe he did. And then one day, he just waltzes in here and he's like, yeah, I broke my hip. And I was like, fuck, that's supposed to have a lower mortality rate, Bob, especially at your age. Of course you'd still be fucking walking. How'd that piss water treat you? What? Ugh, I hated that guy. And I really feel bad that I never got to tell him off. Or at least tell him, hey, at one point, I gave you piss, boy. Had to drink that up.
Not on the same level.
It was okay back in my day, Bob. Gave people piss water all the time. It was just what you did. Would have been great.
Like what the fuck? What kind of a disconnection? You're drunk.
He's
That's the
alcoholic.
thing.
He's just
an
an old hobo
alcoholic.
alcoholic. He had
doesn't
clearly
understand
lost his
reality.
mind.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I was just talking the other day to my son about how things have changed and like what used to be acceptable to say and isn't acceptable now. And then I was like, but what you have to realize is these things were never acceptable.
Yeah.
It was just society was in a dark place for
they
a
just
long
didn't understand.
time where we didn't talk about them. We ignored them.
Yeah.
You know, every white guy with a group of white friends had a couple of racist friends, and everyone knew that they were racist.
I guarantee some of us still do have racist friends.
Oh yeah, for sure. But everyone knew that was the case, and just it was like weird. It was like you didn't acknowledge it. Although like, you know, I had a little bit of a different experience because I grew up on the south side of Chicago.
Right.
So, you know, my upbringing was different. But, like, when we moved to a smaller town, that was my experience as a young adult.
Yeah.
Was like, wow, you just say that. Those are words that you just say. Like, I remember very vividly when I learned that you cannot use the word FAG.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It was around, I was 20. I was 20 years old, 21, ballpark, working at a bar.
Sure.
And it was a college bar. And I've always, at the time, and always have been known as I'm Canadian. I was born in Toronto. I have a Canadian family.
Well, that explains all the politeness.
Yeah. So, like, hate and
the faint scent of maple in the air.
Yeah. It comes from my my maple glands.
Of course.
So I use the word not
as a derogatory, and the same that a lot of kids our age use it back in the day.
Right.
You know, I'd call you one, you'd call me one, we'd call our friend a queer.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And we really didn't have a connection to homosexuality.
Not that it was acceptable.
No, it wasn't.
We just didn't think about it. We
were dumb, and nobody taught us. But I worked with this guy, and he walked up to me, and he was like, "Hey, Brad, I want to tell you something. I know that you're not homophobic and that you're a good dude. And that's why I'm even willing to have this conversation with you. Here's why that word is hateful and hurtful and why it hurts my feelings when you say it, even though I know it's not directed at me.
Yeah.
I never use that word again.
Nice. I have also fairly recently, and I say fairly recently as in the last 3 years, because I'm a horrible person, by the way, but I've been trying to veer myself off of calling things that I dislike or things that are bad gay.
Yeah.
Like, you know how you used to just be like, that's gay.
Pejorative, yeah.
That's gay.
And it's so hard to break that habit, but I'm doing the same
but
thing, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being gay, so why is it a negative thing? It's like, I've stopped calling people cocksuckers, too, because it's like, well, there's nothing wrong with that. Hell, I'm not brave enough to suck a dick. That's crazy. Right. Why is that an insult to somebody?
Also, people who suck dick are great.
Yeah,
because
they're
we
doing
have
a
dicks.
service.
We have dicks, and we want them to be sucked.
They're doing people a service. That's actually a good thing. If you're calling somebody a cocksucker, good news. That's a compliment.
Yeah.
My girl actually started calling people a toothy cocksucker because if you're using teeth, that's bad.
That is bad.
It doesn't flow off the tongue as well, but we're working on that.
Yeah.
We're having people work on that in research groups.
The labs and teams.
Yeah. But definitely deprogramming yourself to that 90s kind of thing where you call things gay and fag. You know, it's just like you shouldn't, though, because... Those are gay, less so, but fag definitely not one you should use. That those created as a derogatory term, or at least repurposed as a derogatory term. So yeah, you shouldn't use it. Same way that I can't say the N-word, and I should never say the N-word. Never. Even in my rapping days.
But guys from the generation ahead of us, like our dad's age guys, they had to learn with that word the way that we have to learn with the homosexual derogatory words. Because I don't think my dad was ever actually a racist.
No.
He's had a ton of black friends, and I've never actually heard him be mean.
But I have once heard my dad refer to a black person as a Negro, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, that's my old side slipping." Like, my dad was never racist, but again, he was raised in the 50s, 60s. So
and so he would.
It happens.
Yeah, he would say
But my dad's always also kind of been a progressive hippie type, too, so I don't think there's really much of a racist bone in that man's body. And if there is, I haven't seen it.
My dad is a very gruff, like, 60s laborer dude. Like, my grandpa, and we're talking about my stepdad, not my real dad.
Right.
I don't know anything about that dude other than he's a piece of shit. My grandpa...
And how did that make you feel? I'm just kidding.
Let's smoke weed about it.
Let's.
So he built railroads.
Mm-hmm. Very man's man work.
Grandpa built railroads.
Yeah.
So raised Dale, my dad, the way that a man who builds fucking railroads with his bare hands would raise a boy.
Rough and Guff probably got a couple of beatings.
So Dale raised me it's a step down system.
Mm-hmm.
So Dale was 50% less hardcore than his dad was.
So you're 75% less hardcore than his dad was.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and it's kind of a cycle in that sense of where you have a cycle of fatherhood where it ends up kind of working out.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, because you need to keep some of those aspects, the masculine aspects, the toxic masculinity aspects. Some of those are necessary for society to function
kind of
as a whole. You don't have to be those things,
right?
But those things have to exist.
We're starting to get past that, I think, or at least we will at some point. On the topic of like being diluted versions of the dad, I mean, I always joke about that's why I became an artist and a musician, is because when I was a kid, I saw my dad making music. He played the drums, he played the guitar, he played the keyboard, he sang.
My real dad was a musician as well, yeah.
I saw him do that, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to be like my dad. I want to do that. So I started doing vocals, and I eventually learned how to play drums. And then same thing with art too. My dad was always doing little art or little doodles and sketches and shit. So that's what I ended up trying to do. You end up trying to be a better version of that, though, right? Because that's also the standards. Well, you want to be better than your dad. You want to one-up him a little bit. You don't want to be 75% less than your grandpa. You want to be equal to that 50% that your dad is or more, you know?
Yeah. You want to keep cutting it generation-wise. And I hope that when my son gets to the age where he's having kids and being a dad, if that's the path he takes in life, is like, okay, well, I understand the importance of discipline and structure, right?
Because those are major.
Right. And I try to be very much Marcus Aurelius, who wrote a book called The Meditations, which is about a concept called Stoicism. Mm-hmm. If you ever heard a person described as Stoic,
yeah.
Right?
I'm familiar.
Stoicism is about...
I watch anime. There's plenty of Stoic figures in anime.
Indeed.
Looking at you, Jotaro.
So that concept is you have to force suffering upon yourself. Otherwise, you don't learn discipline. And you don't become a person that other people trust and find wise.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see that. You know, you got to go through trials and tribulations, right? You can't just be like, oh, I know all about this thing. I didn't have to struggle too much to learn it, but I know about it.
So Marcus Aurelius was the last of the 5 good emperors of Rome.
Cool.
And he chose to sleep on a stone floor.
Cool.
He chose not to live in the palace.
It's baller ass.
He chose not to wear extravagant garments, and he spent most of his time on his farm when he wasn't doing the business of running Rome.
Real man of the people.
Yeah. He just was like, no, I'm going to work every day. You have to do the things you're supposed to do and not expect praise for them. That's another big thing of Stoicism, right? And that's the thing my dad taught me.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know who taught me something like that? KRS-One.
That's so true. KRS-One taught us a lot of shit.
Oh my god, he did. And I don't want to reference a fucking stupid Sublime song, but they're right about that. Yeah. But KRS-One does in fact say, just do what you're good at and the money will come. Don't chase the money. It'll come to you. Just do what you're good at. And I want to get that tattooed to the back of my fucking hand so I remember it, but it's also pretty deeply ingrained in here. But just... that's not a bad thing to remember. Just do what you do. If you're doing it good, the money will come to you. Don't focus too much on the money. Yeah. You know, I mean, as much as I want to be lucrative with the art and stuff, I'm trying not to just think, okay, well, this is what's going to get me paid. You know, got to be doing what I want to be doing, and there's a market for it that'll get me paid.
Yeah,
eventually. I mean, shit. I don't like to think that it's impossible, but I actually have a friend who successfully quit his job and has been living his life based on his brand. If I can spend a little time plugging a friend, he's also a bit of a mentor to me. Justin Parker, I brought him up earlier. He does horriblehomevideo.com. He's formerly or possibly currently still of a band called Corpse Circus, but he very much used his music to help learn how to build a brand and get connections, and then eventually he broke off and started doing this shit called Candy Claw with his brother, Mr. Eight Legs, another wonderful artist. By the way, all of these people you should go and find on Instagram. They're all at whatever I've just been saying. And then he's ventured off, and now he's doing Horrible Home Video, which is like mock-ups of all those like B-movie kind of things you would see. Like we did the Critters pin, so that's kind of the right idea. All those shitty B-movies like The Fly, and he does a lot of Pee-wee stuff. He's done like mock-ups and mashups. He loves Ernest, for example, like Ernest Scared Stupid Ernest. So he did a really good one that I love.
You know what I mean?
To death. Exactly. So he did one called Ernest Goes to Camp Crystal Lake, and it's Ernest getting chased down by fucking Jason, and there's always like really cool stuff that he makes, and he puts them in VHS boxes, and it's neat.
So he's made his own brand where he's like, hey, I do goofy horror B-movie mashups, or I'll mash up Pee Wee Herman with Big Trouble in Little China.
Sounds like
a
great person to have on the show, actually.
Dude, if he ever
Should
wants
put
to
us in
talk about
touch.
his art, he lives in Texas, so it'd probably have to be a Skype thing.
Yeah, most people come on via Skype.
Cool.
Yeah.
He would be a great person to talk to because he's, like I was saying earlier, he's kind of my mentor. He's taught me a lot of things that I know, and he's watching him and being a friend with him has taught me a lot about how to operate a brand, and he's actually successfully doing it himself now. He's making shirt orders. He's going to have 2,000 orders this year, which is insane for an independent production. And he does it all well too. I mean, he rarely, if ever, slacks on shipping. He always is on time with his shit. He's on point with all of his designs, and they're not just some shitty traced job. It's actual legitimate good art that he's making. It's great photoshopping skills. He's a great artist. If I was on Justin's dick any harder, I'd be his nutsack. All right, seriously, guys, go follow him. JSTNPRKR on Instagram, or horriblehomevideo.com if you're into old retro B-movie shit. Fuck, that guy's a guy you should be following right now. Because he also makes really quality merch too. I mean, on top of just producing a mass quality of shirts and pins and buttons, and I don't know if you can see it. It's because it's in my pocket. There's a lanyard of Horrible Home Video that he made. Yeah, nice. He does a lot. He makes a little bit of everything, and he's always on his game. And it's all high quality stuff too, because he's done the time and he's taken the research. And I think everybody could learn from that too. Like that's why I'm glad that I've been taken under his wing, so I can see what he's doing, and I know, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like he's told me he doesn't feel bad sharing stuff with me because he knows I'll use it, and that's again, I'm choking up talking about it because it's honoring. And if he hears this, he's gonna be like, you acting like a motard right now. Quit getting emotional. But yeah, he's really tight. And so that just shows me that, hey, it can be done, and you got to use that as motivation. You know, seeing people that you know, like even though me and him aren't close. I mean, I've never even met the guy face to face, but he's a good friend. You know. Yeah, and seeing somebody do it is good motivation to know, hey, I can do it. Just get over your own mental obstacles and shit.
And if anybody out there does a podcast and is really successful and wants to be my fucking Jedi mentor, feel free to hit me up.
And if you got any good tips for him, you know.
So before we wrap up, because I want to have a chance to have some dabs before you have to head out.
Okay.
I know it's getting late. We've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Where can people buy your shit?
Butterfacecreations.com. Now, mind you, right now I've only got a few products available, but there will be more coming. I do got a couple of pins available. The Butterface Girl pin, the Crowder's pin, the Boys pin shall be dropping fairly shortly. The Baby Laser that we talked about at the opening of the show, that'll be coming pretty soon here. I'm also going to be venturing off into stickers and shirts and blah, blah, blah. So the main place to buy all that, butterfacecreations.com. If you want to find me on other social media platforms, good news, I'm on like all of them because everybody is. Facebook, it's just Butterface Creations. Look for it, like the page. It doesn't matter. They're not going to show you anything unless I pay them anyway. Go to Instagram. I'm at Butterface Creations. It's all spelled the way it sounds. Twitter, I do post there from time to time. It's just Butterface PDX. I'm sure a lot of people think that's something besides art. You know, I imagine people are going to follow that and be like, yo, it's probably just a bunch of ugly girls from Portland. Technically it is, but they're drawings. And I think that's about it. I think.
Okay, and if somebody wants to commission you for work, how is the best way to get in touch with you? Reach out?
There is a way to contact me through butterfacecreations.com, but if you want to just cut the middleman of giving my website a look, then you just email me at butterball503@gmail.com. Do you understand that I usually require a down payment and prices aren't really like set? It's more on a piece-to-piece basis. You know, I'm not just going to be able to be like, oh, you just want this? It's $100. It's going to vary on a case-to-case basis, so just hit me up. We'll have a conversation, and I'll give you a quote. The quote's probably going to be from a Metal Gear game, but if you get it, I'll give you 10% off.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to Butter of Butterface Creations for coming in. And if you are watching this and you would like to follow me, you can find me at NextGen
From the top, we can fix that in post.
Next Gen Retro PDX on Twitch, Next Gen Retro on Twitter, I think. I don't know. Search for me. You'll find me. It's a bearded dude.
Yeah, there's none of those. You especially don't have two on your screen right now.
I'm just Next Gen Retro on all of the things, and if you don't find me on the thing, it's because I don't do the thing. And if I don't do the thing, I'm probably not going to start doing the thing.
By the way, not that I'm a master on podcasts or that I want to mentor you in any way, shape, or form, but you can subvert all that weird talking. You have a screen right there. You can just write what you need to say and then read it off a teleprompter. It's not like they can see this thing I'm pointing to over here.
I know.
Does it just feel disingenuous?
It does.
You could also just record your own outro and then hit a button. And then I'll be like,
it's actually on the screen. It's been on the screen all day.
Oh.
The 2 places I want people to talk to me at, they're right there. They
Oh.
can see them. So just read that shit that's right there. And then find me on that shit. And if you're watching this shit on fucking Twitch, then you fucking found me.
You already know it, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
just
already
click
there.
the follow button.
There you go.
You know, why the fuck aren't you...
And if you're on YouTube, subscribe and click the little bell so you get notifications.
It doesn't hurt you to subscribe to me.
No, it takes literally 2 seconds.
But it hurts me when you don't.
You're making him cry, guys. Stop it. Stop
Just
it.
follow me. Just like me. Just share my posts. Anyway, I love your fucking faces. Thank you so much for fucking being here.
And
Thank
listening
you,
to
Butter.
us ramble, thank you very much for having me on the show and letting me plug stuff and
Peace
talk
out.
about fucking nerd stuff. Jesus.
Good night, ladies and